sense of like, oh, I'm connected. I've got Facebook, I've got Instagram, like we're connected. But I think right now we're realizing what true connection is. And I think that's kind of one of those big things that we're going to walk away from this thing from. But thank you so much for showing up. This is awesome. I love leading this thing off. I'm fired up. I don't know if you could tell, but I'm fired up to be able to do this with you guys. So we're going to have some fun today. So yes, my name is Ryan Morse. I am out of Frederick, Maryland. We're about 45 minutes west of Baltimore. If you guys know where Baltimore is out here on the East Coast. So it's afternoon for us, morning for you. So I've already got my workout in. I've already got my walk in. We're rocking and rolling. I've already had like 4 or 5 cups of coffee today. So we're good. No, not really. But what we're talking about today is the idea of being crucible built. I own a gym called Crucible Performance. The idea of a crucible, right? It's you put metals and unrefined ores into this thing. We put it through intense heat, intense pressures, and what comes out of it, it's something more refined, more valuable on the other end. Most commonly like gold, right? Gold doesn't look all nice and pretty like it does around our neck, right? It's this nasty looking kind of rock looking thing that's got to be refined, and it's got to go through the heat. It's got to go through the trials before it can ever be that refined, beautiful, valuable thing. And we're big believers that you guys are exactly the same way. People are the exact same way. We get athletes coming in, we get kids, we get parents, we get adults, we get grandparents coming in saying, you know what, I want to be better. Whatever that person, that who I'm designed to be, that's who I want to be, right? That's who I want to be. And I understand that it's going to take trials. It's going to take that heat. It's going to take a little bit of that push to be able to get to become that person. So that's what we do. We bring them in, we help challenge them, and we walk alongside them on their journey to whatever their goal is. Some it's losing weight, some it's building muscle, we've got some athletes that are trying to make it to a professional rank in sports. So it is amazing. But there's one thing that no matter who's walking through our doors, there's one thing in common with all of them that is the exact same thing that is in common with you. And that is challenges are going to come your way, right? Challenges are going to come your way. If you are alive, you are going to face challenges. You are going to face trials. You're going to face adversity. You're going to face these challenges in life. And if you haven't faced any, good for you. Like, you a lucky one. But also get ready because they're coming. Get ready because they're coming. Because you know what? I'm going to switch this up on you a little bit. Instead of thinking about these challenges happening to us, I'm going to say, nope, they're not happening to us. They're happening for us. And that's why I like to talk about the idea of being crucible built. Crucible built. And I'll pull up a quick presentation here real fast just to give you a couple ideas. Take some notes if you want to, right? The sharpest pen or the dullest pencil is better than the sharpest mind. That's what they say, right? The dullest pencil is better than the sharpest mind. So y'all see that? Give me that double bicep. We ready? Woo! Let's go, baby. I see them biceps. Y'all been working. I can tell this quarantine hadn't been bad to all y'all with them biceps. So the idea of crucible built. We are forged by the challenges. We are forged by the challenges that we have come into, that we have faced. We are the product of all of those challenges or all of those crucibles. And see, we have this big saying here at Crucible. We have a big saying called cherish the challenge. Cherish the challenge. Boom, there we go. Like, what does cherish a challenge mean? Like, what do most people do with a challenge? They sit there and say, oh no, a challenge. Like, oh no, like this is happening. Like, what, how am I going to make this payment? How am I going to get through this workout? How am I going to get through this trial, right? And we want to run away from them. But I'm saying, you know what? That's not what we want to do. That's not what we want to do. We want to run to those challenges. Just like James 1:2 talks about having it be an opportunity of pure joy. Let's say, what? Opportunity of pure joy? What are you talking about? Well, I realize that it's through those challenges that we're growing. It's through that adversity that we're becoming the person that we're designed to be. So I got to thinking, you know what? We need to cherish these challenges. We got to love them. We got to embrace them. And you know what? Right now is one of those times. Right now, this might be one of the most unique challenges that we've all faced. But I tell you what, it's going to be a big challenge. It's going to be a big challenge, and it's also going to be a big opportunity. For those of us who decide to say, you know what, this challenge is happening for me right now. Maybe it's forcing me to slow down. Maybe it's allowing me to realize what true connection is really all about. Maybe it's slowing me down enough to say, you know what, I don't need to spend my money or my time on these things? Maybe it's slowing us down, and I have been astounded. I don't know about you guys. Give me a thumbs up if you have. I've been shocked and amazed at how generous people have been in a time of dire need. Like the intention, like the natural feeling is when things get tough to hold on, but so many people have been giving. And I have just been loving that. That is one of the beauties that I have seen out of this entire thing. So when we say, I want to go back to normal, man, I hope that doesn't go back to normal. I hope we see an increase in that generosity. I hope we see an increase in that kind of love. But see, I think it's going to come down to one thing. It's going to come down to one thing, and realizing, and my dad told me this since I was like this big, like knee high to a grasshopper. He said, Ryan, you know what? Your life is going to be the decisions that you make. Life is going to be the decisions you make. You're going to make good decisions. Guess what? Good things are probably going to happen. You make some yo-yo decisions. You know what? You're going to have some tougher decisions, tougher actions coming alongside of that. And see, I think it's important for us. Right now, we are in the midst of making a lot of decisions on a day in and day out basis, right? We have to decide how we're going to view this. How are we going to view this opportunity or this challenge? Are we going to view it as an opportunity, or are we going to view this as something that's happening to me? See, I'm going to argue that it's the best way for us to go through this is to say, you know what, this is happening for me. But one of the biggest decisions we're going to have to make is to realize whether we're going to react or we're going to respond. Are you going to react out of fear? Are you going to react emotionally to this? And we're going to get really bent out of shape, and we're going to get upset over not being able to go to the grocery store without a mask? Are we going to get really upset that the governor's doing something one way and we want it to be the other way? Are we going to react and go emotionally into a bunch of things that we can't control? Can't control. I find a lot of times, if I look back on my life, and maybe some of you guys too, whenever I reacted out of emotion, I did some pretty stupid things. They were never great decisions when I was reacting out of pure emotion. But the times that I step back, I look around and I say, you know what? How am I going to respond to this? How am I going to respond? How am I going to execute a plan during this trial, during this challenge? Whether it was school, whether it was business, whether it was sports, whether it's my relationship with my wife and my daughter. Whenever I react in those moments, good things don't happen. But when I respond, when I pull myself back and say, you know what? How can I grow from this? How can I make a decision right now that's going to allow me to grow through this challenge? Because again, every single challenge is an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to become a person you were designed to be. But I think where that all starts, we got to know who it is that we want to be. So I'm going to challenge you right now. I'm going to challenge you. Close your eyes, write it down, whatever it wants to be. Who are you going to be at the end of this? This is all going to pass by. This is a phase. This is a chapter. Now, there might be a new normal on the other side of this, and that's okay. Again, we get to choose how do we react or respond to that. But at the end of this, who do you want to be? Who do you want to become at the end of this? Do you want to be in better shape? Do you want to have a better relationship with your spouse? Do you want to have a better relationship with your God, with your Creator? Do you want to have accomplished reading 10 books, 20 books? Are there things that you want to accomplish? Or are there attributes that you want to develop? Man, I tell you what, pretty awesome opportunity right now to develop a lot of these things. But we have to have a clear and defined vision of who it is that we want to be. And I think that's a big piece of responding to the challenge. Having a clear vision. Let's say this. Let's say I'm going off tangent. I'm going to give you all expense paid vacation. All expense paid vacation right now. Like I got, like, I'm loaded. Not really, but I'm loaded. And I'm just giving you all an all expense paid vacation. Y'all would be writing down every little detail about that vacation, wouldn't you? You'd be writing what kind of bed you were sleeping in, where you were sleeping, what you were going to do, how you were going to eat. Like, you know, everything. We got to be that detailed. We got to have that clear, defined vision of who we want to be too, how we want our family to be. What does success look like on the other side of this quarantine life? Because again, this is an opportunity to grow. And I think one of the biggest things that catches people off guard is they're not ready for their opportunity. They're not ready for it. See, when I was an athlete growing up, like, I wasn't the best athlete. Like, I had to work my little booty off, right? I'm not the physical specimen that some of these y'all are. Like, I had to work my booty off. I was the small kid. I was the kid that was looked down on, like poor little old Ryan, right? And there were times that I had to sit the bench for an entire season. I had to sit the bench, but I always had to be ready. I always had to be ready for that opportunity. I had to be ready for that challenge that was coming my way to say, you know what, this is an opportunity for me to grow. And I bet if you're like me, probably are, you feel like this a lot of times. Man, another wall, another challenge. Like I'm trying to lose this weight and I just can't do it, like banging my head against the wall, right? I'm trying to get a promotion in my job and I just can't do it. I'm trying to like get my daughter potty trained and I just can't do it. Like whatever it is, right? We feel like we're constantly pushing against the wall and that's how we feel. But again, I'm going to challenge you. I can react out of anger and frustration and just throw my hands up in the air and say, I can't do it. Or we can take a step back and we can respond. And I'm going to challenge you to do that right now. Maybe this is the situation you're in right now. I'm just pushing against this wall. I can't control it and dag on like you can't do anything about it. But what if we take a step back? What if we take a step back and look? I bet you what you're going to find is you're actually just at the front edge of a stair step. Whatever that next level is, whatever that next version of you is, he's sitting up there on that next level. She's sitting up there on that next level. And there takes a challenge. It takes a refining. It takes you doing things that you've never done before to go to that next level. And in the moment, it feels like a wall, like I can never climb up. I can never get there. But I'll bet if you go out even further, you're further up that staircase than you thought you were. If you look back in your life, you have made it through every single worst day of your life up to this point. Every single challenge. Maybe it didn't go the way you wanted to, but I bet you learned something about yourself. I bet you grew into somebody that you didn't know that you could be. I bet you developed skills and traits that you didn't think you could have. So I want to challenge you. Look at yourself in this way. I want you to realize that you're further up that mountain. You're further up that staircase than you thought you were. And every time that you find yourself pushing into another one of those walls, pushing into it, I want you to take a step back and realize, you know what? It's just the front edge of the next level. It's the front edge of that next step. And I want you to look behind you, just like the rear view mirror, right? We got that tiny rear view mirror up in the car, right? Little. You can look back and see where you've gone, but keep your eyes focused on the top of that mountain because that's where we're climbing. And realize that the point that got you to where you're at is all those challenges and crucibles to get you to that point. That's why you're crucible built. Guys, thank you so much for this opportunity. I appreciate y'all. If you need anything from me, reach out. I think my information's on there somewhere in the schedule, right, Bob? But guys, thank you so much. God bless y'all. I'm praying for each and every one of you. Thank you, guys. Love y'all.
Ryan, thank you.
Give me that double bicep. That good double bicep. We good.
Double bicep, buddy. That was good.
There we go. I see you, Elizabeth. Let's go.
Yeah, Ryan's one of the most quiet guys in our group, if you couldn't tell. So I love having him kick us off. His energy is just out the roof. Ryan, great analogy on the rearview mirror. Love it. Love it. Yeah, learn from those lessons behind you, but don't focus on them. That's perfect. All right, so that got us off and running. Next, I have Mr. Hugo Brambilla from California jumping on here. He's going to talk to you about your most precious commodity. Hugo.
Where am I? Can you guys hear me?
There you are.
Yes. All right. Thank you guys. First of all, thank you guys for showing up. I really appreciate all of you showing up and taking time out of your Saturday to come on here. And Ryan, thank you so much for that Cherish the Challenge message. It's truly been something that I've been personally taking on the past couple of days, and it's helped me out tremendously to step into those challenges and really cherish the opportunity to grow and become better. So thank you so much for that, brother. I really appreciate you. My name is Hugo Brambilla. I am the owner of Custom Fitness in Sacramento, California. For the past 18 years, I've been helping people transform their lives through health and fitness. And today I'm here to share with you guys some lessons and steps that I've been doing to be able to win each day. Now, you know, if you're anything like me, like this whole scenario has like transformed everything that I do. And I'll share a little bit more about what I'm doing, but you know, think about it going from, you know, going to my facility every day to coaching to now doing everything from home My wife is doing everything from home, and I have two little ones, a 6 and a 4-year-old. So imagine that, a 6 and a 4-year-old, they're always next to you no matter what, and trying to do everything you're doing. So I'm here to share with you a little bit of the steps that I've been doing and some stuff that I've been realizing that I need to change in order to keep moving forward. And, you know, now more than ever, this is a perfect time to make changes and pivot into stuff that you guys are doing. So yeah, so here we go. I'm gonna talk to you guys about life, right? So life, available for a limited time only, limit 1 per person, notice to change without, or subject to change without notice, provided as is, without any warranty or guarantee of anything. It's non-transferable, and it's the sole responsibility for the recipient. It may incur damages arising from use, misuse, or non-use. Additional parts sold separately. Your mileage may vary. Life is subject to applicable fees and taxes. Terms and conditions may apply. Every restriction you can imagine will also apply if you allow it to. Life. Despite all of that, it's your life. You can live it. It's a poem from an unknown author that I've been, you know, I take it for what it is, and, you know, it opens my eyes to, you know, we can do what we want to do, and we are able to run our time and manage our time, or, as I'm going to teach you, own your time if you really make that work for you. But the clock is always ticking. Our clock is always ticking. Life is the most competitive game on the planet. You win some, you lose some, you get knocked down, and you even get injured when you're playing this game of life. So you must believe, you must work hard, you must persist, and regardless of your situation, you got to keep going. Now, there's no game clock, right? I've always been an athlete, and there's always been a timer of how much time we got left. We get to push it, but life, we have no game clock. So we're not able to gauge how much time we have left. So the best way to utilize that time is not to waste it. We can't waste it, right? You have to enjoy the journey, which includes victories and struggles, your work, your play, but most importantly is the people you love. And that's what makes life worth living. So again, raise your hand real quick. How many of you have been thrown off with this whole stay-at-home order and everything you're doing? All of a bunch of us are thrown off, right? Because, you know, just like me, and I told you, I know it's not always perfect. You know, I'm a man of faith, a husband, a father, and overnight, a ton has been thrown my way, right? So from, like I told you guys earlier, running my business, and now I'm a teacher, right? A first grade teacher, and my son is in preschool, so we're a preschool teacher. So I'm having to make the most of my time to be able to make it through the day. So I needed to develop some time consciousness, right? Time slips through our hands like grains of sand, never to return. It's the only thing that we have that we cannot manufacture, sorry about that, or lengthen, right? Time's always running, but we're always taking it for granted. So being at home has opened my eyes to knowing that I don't need to manage my time. I need to own my time, which is something that I do when my life works well. So our mentor, Todd, that you'll hear at the end here, always talks about when life works well, what are you doing, right? And this quarantine is showing me that I need to go back to those things when my life is working well and own my time. So think about your schedule. Are you just waking up and going through the motions? Are you, you know, rushing to get to stuff? Like I know before, when everything was normal, I would wake up and I would rush to the gym. I'm waking up at 4 a.m. every day. I normally do reading, but sometimes like towards the end, I wake up, I just get going, and then I wouldn't get my mind in that right frame to be able to deliver at my best abilities. So, you know, think about your schedule. Are you waking up? Are you drinking a cup of coffee, heading out the door? Are you sitting down? Are you eating breakfast? You know, what is it that you're doing in your normal time? And let's adjust, right? So make a pivot and change. So what gets measured gets managed. So think about it, right? In the same way that you can't pay off your debt without knowing how much debt you have, what your interest rates are, or when your payments are due, right? You're not going to figure that out. And same thing with your time. Until you understand how your time is actually being spent and how you are being effective with that time during the day, you're not going to be able to realize what it is that you're doing. So I'm going to give you guys a task. Now, I know it may seem like a lot, and it's like, you know, really, are you serious to do this? But yes, if you really want to make the most out of your time, do this, and it's going to help you tremendously. So over the next week, set up a recurring alarm for every 20 minutes, right? Set a timer on your phone, and every time that alarm goes off, write down what you accomplished in that last time, right? So really write down your energy levels, your mood, and where you were at that specific time. And again, but when you invest time in understanding how you're currently managing or not managing your time, you're going to gain a tremendous advantage in what you're doing, right? A well-arranged time is the surest mark of a well-arranged mind. So let me say that again. A well-arranged time is the surest mark of a well-arranged mind. We all have the same 24 hours. You know, Ryan's on the East Coast, I'm on the West Coast, but we both have 24 hours in our day to do what we want. So plan your days, stop being a slave to your weaker impulses, and start doing what it is that you want to do, right? Bring in self-control and discipline into your life, and you're going to create a ton of freedom because you're going to have a plan with your time, right? We're in a society where 87% of us are actively disengaged with our work. So a lot of times, like, you know, and you be honest, how many of you are really doing what you need to do when you're at work, right? You have the computer screen on. If you're sitting on here, something goes off, it dings, you lose your attention span. You're like, oh, what is this over here? What is that over there? And then it takes you time to get back into what you're doing, right? So and then also a lot of us are so engaged with what we love to do that we struggle to make time for ourselves, for our hobbies, and sometimes maybe our families. So one time our mentor, Todd, at one of our retreats, he was talking about, someone posed a question, what would you do if you were able to go back in time and make some changes? And he said, you know, I wouldn't work on Saturdays. I wouldn't coach on Saturdays. And I'd rather spend those Saturdays with my kids and my family and my wife than working and thinking I had to build my business. And he said, is it really worth that extra money to be able to do that? Now, if you ask me that question, you know, I'm making changes into what I'm doing. I'm thinking about it. You know, I have my 2 kids. Now it's got me thinking, like, what do I truly want to do with my time? Do I want to miss those 18 summers I get with my kids? Because that's all we get. They turn 18, they're out to college. You know, some of you that have kids could, you know, attest for that. But I know I got 18 summers with my kids, maybe less because my daughter's 6 now. So I have less summers with them. So I want to make the most of that time that I have with them and move forward. So if it doesn't fit, let me get this. Get it. If it doesn't fit, cut it, right? You got to be ruthless with your time. Learn to say no and get away from time suckers. So think about things like, what do you hate doing? What is not in your job? What should you stop doing? And what are your distractions? Is it emails? Is it phones, text alerts, whatever you do? So one of the things that I've done that's helped me is I've shut off all my alerts on my phone, believe it or not. And I've set up time where I'll go on my phone and I'll check it at this time. You know, emails, you know, some people think I'm crazy. I check emails 2 times a day. 2 times a day at 9:45 and then at like 4:45 at the end of the day, because I even sometimes leave my phone at home. And if you know me and you need to go get a hold of me, you'll call my wife, because that's how you could get a hold of me, because I turn my phone off because I want to be engaged in what it is that I'm doing. So think about your distractions, and if it doesn't fit, cut it out, right? So plan your perfect week and build around the life that you truly want, right? And just because someone's schedule is different doesn't mean you have to plan out like them. Run your own race. Your race is yours. Your life is yours. Do what you want with it, right? Plan your week ahead and manage your time creatively, right? So you want to plan a walk at lunch, put that in there. You want to whatever it is, plug it in and do that around. Make sure you put in your appointments with yourself, which is the most important. Like plug in your workouts, your yoga, all that stuff. And the most meaningful things should never be sacrificed for those less meaningful. All right. So the first thing you want to do with your schedule is plug in your relationship and self-care non-negotiable. So those are things like your date nights, your workouts, your yoga, massages, family dinners, time with your friends, prayer time, or any other personal events that you guys have. That's number one. Number two, plug in your productivity routines. So productivity routines meaning like your nightly brain dump, your Sunday morning time to plan the whole week ahead, your reverse alarm. A reverse alarm meaning what time are you going to bed? Set up an alarm on there and tell yourself, man, it's time for me to go to bed. Because that was one thing that I've been doing, like staying up extra late and still waking up at 4 a.m. and my energy was just kind of dropping down, right? So set up that reverse alarm and take time to sleep. It's important. Your reverse alarm and then your morning routine. Plug that in your schedule first and then get it going. After that, after you plug in your self-care and your productivity routines, then you can plug in everything else, your work, your emails, your travel, whatever it is that you're doing, plug it in after you plug in what you truly want to do. And then by scheduling your non-negotiables first, everything's going to get better, right? You're going to get more stuff done. You're going to feel better. You're going to move better. It's going to get done. So now we have the rule of 20. The rule of 20 states that 80% of your results come from 20% of your activities. So think about that. What are your high impact activities? So what is it doing that's yielding the best for you? So, and then one thing that I like to think about is 10 years from now, is this going to be important, right? Is watching that extra show and on Netflix and wasting or losing an hour of sleep going to make me better? Is, just think about those little things. Always think about it. Is this going to matter in the next 10 years, right? That breakfast with my kids is going to matter. That, dinner with my kids is going to matter. That date night is going to matter, right? So think about what is the top 20% and focus your time on there. And also, improving relations with our family, improving knowledge of your craft. So whatever it is that you do, work on getting better at it. And then obviously, we want to improve our health, because health is our number one wealth. If we don't have our health, we don't have anything else. So health is your number one wealth. And one thing here is stop acting like we have 500 years to live. Stop acting like we have 500 lives to live. We never know when we're going to go. It's a crazy thought, but one thing that has got me thinking a lot differently is what would you do if today was your last day? Think about that. What is it that you would do if today was your last day? Who do you need to call to apologize to? Or who do you need to forgive? How would you treat your family? How would you approach everything? Would you work out? Would you call, spend extra time with messaging your parents, your kids, whatever it is? And, we cannot add time to our life, and we can't control how fast or slow the time goes, but you can add life to the time you're giving. So live to every moment, hour, day, week, and month, because tomorrow is never promised. Now I'm going to finish with a little story in a book that I read. It's a little kid. He was in his classroom, and he was just in class and he was bored. He's like, man, I wish I could go and do this quicker. I wish I could go over here. So after class, he was walking through the meadow and he met this little fairy, and the fairy gave him a little spindle with a cord. And he goes, this cord, you could just pull it and it's going to move you forward. So he's like, all right, cool. So next time he was sitting in class, he reached in his pocket, pulled out the little spindle and just pulled it a little bit. And next thing he knew, he was at home. He's like, all right, I just spent the whole day. The day went by quick, boom. And, he was going around again, he's bored, and he pulls out the little spindle and pulls it out again. And then the next thing he knows, he's past first grade. Now he's in like 6th grade. So he wasted all that time. He doesn't have any memory of it. And he keeps going, he keeps pulling. And the next thing you know, he's a grandparent. and he has no recollection of anything he did. And he went back to the meadow, he saw the fairy, and the fairy goes, so how did you like it? He goes, you know what? You know, in the beginning it was fun. You know, I was able to speed through things and go through, but you know, I truly wish I could go back and enjoy my life. So the fairy gave him, he goes, give one back tug and send him back to that first grade class. And he was set to enjoy his life. So, you know, we all have our time. Arrange it how you want to use it and use it to your advantages, right? And do what you guys want. So again, my name is Hugo Brambila. Info's on our little PDF there. And if you have any questions, let us know. I know there's a lot of chat in here. Angie said, Hugo lives, practices, learn from him. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, guys, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for showing up again. Now, hopefully you guys learned something from that.
Thank you, Hugo. Can you say your last name again? Because I certainly don't say it right.
Brambila.
Brambila.
Brambila. Roll the R. Brambila.
Brambila. I love it. I love it. Great talk, Hugo. I love the visualizing piece. Yeah, you got to see it, and then you got to put that plan together to get there. Great share. Thank you very much. So where is Miss Megan? I got to find her on the screen here. Megan Ritchie is going to be up next for us. There she is. And she's got a presentation called The Art of Empowerment. So I'm going to let her take it away from here. We're running about 3.5 minutes ahead of schedule, but we're doing good. Hi, Megan.
All right. I am here. Share my screen with y'all. And you guys see that okay? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Awesome. So my name is Megan, and I am from Ferndale, Washington on the Pacific Northwest. We're having a lovely, normal rainy day today. And I just really am excited to get to talk to you a little bit about kind of what I've learned over the past many years now. I know I look young, but it's been a decade of coaching plus already that I have taken from all of my experiences from being a player myself. So I was a professional soccer player, played overseas for a long time, and all over the US and whatever, all that fun stuff. My jersey's back behind, learning to share more and more of my story as time goes by. But when we were thinking about what do we really want to share and what speaks to us and what could possibly be something that encourages you or inspires you during this just crazy time that we're in right now. And I have had such an incredible time with my high school girls that I get to coach. And something happened to me during quarantine that I was not expecting, and I had an emergency appendectomy about 2 weeks in, and it totally threw my plans and my productivity and everything out the window, and I've had to just really slow down and also rely on the people around me to be able to continue running my business, keeping it going so that we have this amazing place to come back to when we're allowed to. And one of the biggest things for me is maintaining that connection with all of my students. And when I talk about students, I coach everyone from youth up through, you know, our grandmas and grandpas and all of that. And it's just a beautiful community that has grown at Manthe Momentum. So Manthe was my maiden name. And when I was a player, that was my name and who I was known as. And so I decided to keep that as I grew my business. But the art of empowerment comes from a place of me recognizing how important it is to bring out the absolute best in everyone that we're coaching and to show them that they are capable of doing so much more than oftentimes we see them believing in themselves, right? I believe as coaches, it's our responsibility to really pull that out and show that to each person that we work with. And we all have a unique way that we do that, but we have that responsibility to touch these lives and to really create change. And as Todd talks about so much, that impact, right? How can we take them from where they are when they walk through our doors the first time to this place of elevating and igniting them and empowering them that they didn't even know was possible. I have the pleasure of working with a lot of young soccer players, both boys and girls, and other athletes as well in different sports, but soccer is my #1 passion and what taught me most of my lessons, right? And just really shaped me into who I am. And so with coaching, I'm going to just walk through an acronym that has to do with, at the end, reaching the empowerment stage with your students and your clients. And it's through this philosophy of coaching to shape your students. So here we support, we help, we provide a different level of accountability than I think they're used to at times, prepare, and then empower. So it's almost like a parent. So I'm also a parent. I have a 2.5-year-old daughter, but you know, and have been a daughter and watched my parents parent, and how we're ultimately, you know, raising our kids, and we were raised so that we would be successful adults, and we would have these tools to try things and to not be afraid, right? But as I was thinking about, you know, what is it that I do that really gets me going, gets me like lit up and ready to go, and how can I use that to kind of like feed into you guys today even. But I'm gonna start with our support and how we support our students here, okay? We show up, we ask questions, we say, how are you doing today? What can I do to provide you with the tools that you need to be successful? The feedback that I've gotten from kids as they grow up, and I've, you know, seen many off to college and just had that joy, and they come back and they share, you know, they share their hearts with me, and they say, you know, you were the first coach that took the time to ask how I'm doing, that cared beyond the field, that, you know, was interested in my life, and you showed me support both for my athletics, but also for the day-to-day in my school and things like that. So just #1, like that we support, that they feel that they're receiving that support, and we're not just having them come in the door, give them their workout, and then they leave, right? So challenge you, what is it that you can do to extend support, and how do you help those people receive it and feel supported? Some food for thought with that. And then help. I coach a lot on intuition, and it comes from, I think, experience, and it comes from just within my DNA and how I've just been created, and the heart and the mind that God has given me, and living in my calling and purpose definitely helps with that. But we're looking for ways to help that doesn't hinder, right? And so I'm looking for things like, oh, has this student not shown up in the last 2 weeks who's normally really accountable? Not accountable, but is really consistent, right? And man, I wonder if she's okay. I'm going to reach out, I'm going to show support, and I'm going to ask if they need any help. Okay, so it's not necessarily just giving help, it's asking if they want help, and allowing them to get to a place where they are willing to receive that if they need it, whether it's emotionally, mentally, physically, academically even, all those areas. And then accountability. I think that there is a huge lack of accountability in young kids' lives at times outside of the home. Some kids have amazing, you know, family lives where they're great with that accountability piece. But I think sometimes it's so easy to get lost when you're part of a big school or a large team, that, you know, you might be given, oh, go out and do this on your own, and then no one follows up with you. So how are we providing a higher level of accountability for our clients, our young students, to teach them that it's not just about what they want to do and when they want to do it, but that they are serving a bigger purpose by being committed to their actions. They are responsible for their actions, and with them come both positive and negative consequences. And it's our job as their coaches, as their accountability buddies, their support system, to be strong and to ask those hard questions as, what did you do this weekend? You know, did you stay out of trouble? Did you do anything I need to know about that I can help you through? And then the next step comes in our, in preparing them. So I've had the privilege of starting to work with some kids, you know, around 5th grade, and then now they have gone off to college. And I actually have a girl that I started with when she was 10, and she'll be graduating soon, and she went on to play college soccer. And for me, I'm just so proud of her, number one. But I also was there walking alongside her in the preparation phase through everything, right? And it was intentional. And if we don't have that intentionality in the preparation and how we teach and coach and guide, support, build in that accountability for these students, we are not doing our job in the preparation phase. And you can say, oh yeah, this is on the parents, or their actual sport coaches, you know, the actual soccer coach that's with them, you know, 3 to 5 days out of the week. And it is my job to prepare them to take ownership of, number one, their bodies. I need to prepare them with the education and the tools and the resources of how to recover, how to hydrate, how to fuel their bodies properly, how to do fitness, how to do different strength exercises, and the reasoning behind what we do. So in my approach to my trainings with my students, it is based a lot on the why, and I do my best to provide them with the why throughout our workouts, showing them this is how this is preparing you to be successful on the field and off the field. When you are on your own, when you don't have someone holding your hand all the time, this is to prepare you for life beyond being just a kid at home. And it is so cool to watch as they grow up. I mean, just what a privilege. I see it every day. You know, I'm not just a teacher of a certain grade level that gets the kid for 1 year. I'm in an incredible position to get to see these kids really grow up and change and become adults. And, you know, when I started out, it felt like something that was so far away. So it's just a reminder of, like Hugo was talking about, time as this precious commodity, and how, you know, we forget how quickly it can go away. But all of those steps on how I support, how I help, how I hold them accountable, how I help them prepare, leads to the overall empowerment that I believe my students are receiving as a result. And this really became clear to me during quarantine, because I was on restriction orders from surgery, not able to work out. And I had been having fun doing virtual workouts, you know, where I was involved in the workouts and providing energy. And I'm not the best at sitting still, surprise, surprise. But I was tired. I was sleeping a lot, and I felt I needed help. And I knew that I had done a good job preparing my students by giving them the resources, the education, the accountability to understand not only that, like, for example, we'll do an exercise and I will help them understand how their body should be moving, how to adjust their hips, to do it properly, where they should be feeling it. And so they know why. And so I asked them, I said, hey, would you girls be up? And this is a group of 8th through 12th grade girls. And I asked them, would everyone be up for leading a live session? And a lot of them are pretty quiet girls. They've been together as a group for a while, some newer than others. And I didn't know exactly how they would respond, but I thought I would challenge them. And I thought I would give them this opportunity to kind of step up and practice leadership. So I'm providing an environment where they feel safe, they feel respected, and ultimately they feel empowered now, because I am now going to them, asking them for help and support, which they've seen and received from me over and over and over again. And they all stepped up. Not a single one of them came to me and said, Megan, I'd prefer not to do this. Is it okay if I don't? Every single one of them said, oh yeah, I'll do it. And I said, okay, who's up first? And someone was raise their hand, I'll go first. And then after that, oh, I'll go. And each of those girls wrote out their workouts. They added in their own little flair to it, and did an incredible job. Like, they could lead workouts, you know? And I think watching them empowered me in my ability and showed me, oh my gosh, like, okay, you are doing a good job. Sometimes as coaches, we need that, that feedback, and we need to see that as well. Like, we're not, like, I'm not Superwoman. I know you guys think that sometimes, right? No, but, you know, we need that encouragement and feedback. And I think to see that happening is just so incredible. So I just believe through this concept of shape, of supporting, helping, building in accountability, preparation, and after you follow kind of those steps and have that intentionality behind it, leads to that empowerment. And when our clients, all ages, feel empowered, they take ownership, and we quit hearing excuses, and we start seeing serious results in their lives that are transforming them from the inside out. And they no longer are dependent on us, but they want to still be with us, right? I think a lot of times there's that fear, oh no, if I empower them, I'm going to lose my clients, or they won't need me anymore. You know, they can just do this on their own. And it's like, no, we're creating this environment, and we're empowering, we're building them up to be an even more impactful citizen, like in our communities, in their families, and just providing that spark of life. So I just wanted to thank you guys for listening in. I could go on and on and on forever and ever, amen, about this. Obviously, you can tell I'm passionate about it, but thank you to all of you coaches and trainers who speak life, who show people who are lost that they matter, that they have purpose. No matter how tired and weary you grow sometimes as a coach and as a trainer of breathing life into the hurting that, you know, walk through our doors every day. It is such an important role that you play in our world. And now more than ever, you guys, we have to keep stepping up and showing up and providing that light. And yeah, just remember that, like, we all matter, you matter. And love you all. Follow me on Instagram, Coach Megan M, or our business page, and check out what we do. So love you all, and hope you have a wonderful rest of our little Zoom webinar. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Megan. That was awesome. Just watching you the last couple of years is just, you've just blossomed, and your coaching is just amazing now. And I love what you've done with these young ladies. The shares you've done the last month with us and what you've done with them has just been very inspiring. We can also do it with our adults, right? We can give them that same kind of shape acronym and take them through that as well. Our next coach is going to be on a video, actually. We have a presentation from Janine Henson. And Janine is the owner of California Bodies in Fallbrook, California. And she's done a lot of work and research in Alzheimer's. And she's going to give you a lot of information. I'm going to open up my screen here to share her video and just make sure I do this right. Here we go.
Is a death sentence. How you face these trying times will have an effect on your future cognition. Let's identify the risk factors, as there is no single one. In fact, most people have multiple contributing factors. No wonder there is no one cure. I invite you to grab a piece of paper and a pen and write down those risk factors that are applicable to you. Age is number one. 1 in 9 people with Alzheimer's disease are 65 and older. 50% of those over 85 will have Alzheimer's disease. The disease starts 30 years before any signs or symptoms occur, and by the time they do appear, 30% of the hippocampus could be gone. Obesity. Men with a body fat of 25% and over, and women over 33% have twice the risks. Do you have hypertension or high blood pressure above 120/70? Genetics play a critical role. According to Dr. Bredesen, author of The End of Alzheimer's, if you carry the APOE4 gene inherited from one parent, you have a 30% higher risk of Alzheimer's disease. If you have the gene from both parents, you have a 50% higher risk. Why the APOE4 gene? Research has shown it plays a role in the destruction of synapses and neurons in the brain. Have you ever suffered a brain injury? Fallen off a ladder? Played contact sports? Been in a car accident? Do you consume more than 2 glasses of alcohol a week? Do you have diabetes or vascular disease? Diabetes increases your risk by 50%. Are you a female? You are at higher risk. Are you a smoker? Do you suffer from sleep deprivation, less than 7 hours a night, or sleep apnea? Do you live a sedentary lifestyle? Are you retired and no longer learning new skills? Have you now or ever used recreational drugs? Have you had toxic exposure? Do you remain socially connected? This definitely has its challenges today. How to give yourself Alzheimer's disease? Live a life in continual exposure to these risk factors. How to prevent it? Live your life to minimize these risks. Genes can determine the risk for a disease, but our lifestyle environment can trigger or suppress those risks. What steps can you take to prevent cognitive decline? It is certainly more than doing crossword puzzles or playing Sudoku. Exercise is the single most powerful tool you have to optimize your brain function. More and more studies are concluding that participating in aerobic exercise at 70 to 80% of your maximum heart rate and strength training to increase blood flow, oxygen, and DNA repair is vital. Exercise reduces insulin resistance, increases the size of the hippocampus, improves vascular function, reduces stress, improves mood, and increases the survival of newborn neurons. Diet appears to be just one of many factors that play into who gets the disease, so take a look at your dietary intake. Are you including smart, low glycemic carbs, lower than 35 on the glycemic index? I did a 10-day no sugar challenge for my members. I received reports of more energy, more clarity, and better sleep. Choosing healthy fats, such as olive oil, avocados, and nuts, supports brain functioning. Choose organic fruits and vegetables free from pesticides, especially green leafy vegetables, grass-fed beef, and free-range chicken that are free from antibiotics. Cooking with herbs such as rosemary, thyme, sage, and saffron can enhance memory. Avoid sugar, processed foods, nothing in a bag, nothing in a box, certainly not fast food. The great Jack LaLanne used to say, if God didn't make it, don't eat it. The Mediterranean diet has been recommended and is used by the Mind Institute. It includes in your diet in vegetables, berries, nuts, olive oil, beans, or fish. A ketogenic diet has also been recommended by Dr. Perlmutter, author of The Grain Brain, as well as Dr. Bredesen. It consists of a high-fat, adequate protein diet that forces the body to burn fats rather than carbohydrates. It creates a state called ketosis, which is a natural metabolic state, a secondary energy source that the body uses instead of glucose. Recently, a lot of attention has been focused on intermittent fasting for weight loss. This can be beneficial for brain health as well as you are inducing ketosis. Dr. Bredesen calls it the Keto Flex 12/3. That means eating your last meal at, say, 7 p.m., 3 hours before bedtime, and not eating again until 7 a.m. Not impossible, and it may switch your metabolism to fat burning and insulin sensitive, which prevents Alzheimer's. I recommend eating a diet which includes healthy fats such as avocados, olive oil, fatty fish such as salmon, sardines, and trout. Nuts such as almonds, walnuts, and macadamias, and seeds such as pumpkin seeds. There is an army of supplements out there that claim to aid in cognition, and it can be overwhelming. I summed it up with 7 essential supplements that I found to be consistently recommended. Number 1, MCT oil. It creates a mild ketosis, which is optimal for cognitive function. Omega-3s. EPA and DHA, according to Dr. Daniel Amen, are fatty acids which are anti-inflammatory, build brain cell membranes, and are a component of neuronal synapses. Vitamin D3, essential for creating and maintaining brain synapses, overall brain health, and mood. Low levels have been associated with memory problems, depression, and dementia. Magnesium is vital for your body to make energy. It can relax blood vessels and play a key role in blood sugar regulation. Vitamins B6, B12, folate combat homocysteine. Homocysteine is a marker of inflammation and brain shrinkage. Melatonin. The goal for a healthy brain is 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night, giving your brain the ability to wash. This is best without sleeping pills, which can compromise cognitive function. Curcumin, or turmeric, has potent antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties that can improve cognitive function. It can cross the blood-brain barrier, which may promise to be a good neuroprotective agent. Next brain healthy step is to get your mind right by addressing the ants. Ants are automatic negative thoughts. Every time you have a negative thought, your brain releases chemicals. So kill the ants. You can do this by identifying negative thoughts and turning them around. Byron Katie, author of the book Loving What Is, teaches you to ask these questions. 1. Is it true? My husband never listens to me. 2. Is it absolutely true? Yes, well, sometimes, but no, not absolutely. How does that thought make you feel? Frustrated, angry. Who would you be without that thought? Happy, more loving. It is important to incorporate prayer, meditation, and/or breath work to aid in stress management. Stress triggers inflammation. Brain cells can die with prolonged exposure to stress. Dr. Monica Starkman at the University of Michigan showed that the hippocampus shrunk and there was memory loss directly proportional to elevations in cortisol. How we respond to stress dramatically affects what it does to our bodies and mind. Stress comes not from our circumstance, but rather that what we cannot control about those circumstances. Dr. John Medina, a researcher on human brain functions at the University of Washington, recommends that first, write down everything that is stressing you. Next, rate them on a scale of 1 to 10 of how in control or out of control you might feel. 10 is completely out of control. Other stressors might be a 1 or a 5. The last step is for those things that you can. Do your best to re-exert control over the situation rather than trying to get rid of the adverse stimulus. Focusing on the 1 or 3s and gaining back control over those stressors will help to give you confidence and reassurance that everything is not as bleak as you think. Studies have shown meditation can increase blood flow, particularly to the right temporal lobe. I recommend some of the free guided meditative apps that are available, such as Headspace. Start including breathwork or diaphragmatic breathing daily. This is as simple as a 4-count inhale by expanding the abdomen, holding for 4 counts, and then exhaling for 4 counts. Maybe start with 1 minute and build to longer over time. Next, learn a new skill. If you are right-handed, brush your teeth or eat with your left hand. This is the time to learn a new language. Learn to play table tennis. Learn to dance. Salsa, anyone? Stay socially connected. A 6-week study was done on the elderly who are used to lack of social interaction. They did a report on executive function, then gave them screens instructing them to connect for 30 minutes a day. They observed a noticeable difference in executive function. Not as good as face-to-face, but pretty close. If you want to survive the social distancing, get a bunch of screen buddies and interact on a daily basis. These are just a few steps that can be easily incorporated into daily living. But are you ready to make some lifestyle changes? Ask yourself these 3 questions. What do you value most in life, and what makes your life worth living? The answer is usually not your first response, so keep asking. It can take 4 or 5 times before you get the real response. How does being fit and healthy connect to that? And what behaviors would you like to change to help you be your best self?
Wow. Thank you, Janine. A ton of information there. So you guys have her contact information in the bio section. If you'd like some more, please do reach out to her. She's got a ton of research and a very, very deep breadth of knowledge with what's going on with this disease. So we're going to stay on the West Coast. We've had California and Washington and California. We're staying in California, and we're going to bring up Marissa Axel. She's going to get you up out of your seat. We're going to do a little balance and breath work. Take it away, Marissa.
Hey everyone, welcome. Thanks. So I'm going to go just briefly, a quick talk, and then we're going to get up. You don't have to, you can just watch, but I encourage you to participate. So welcome. I'm talking about 3 reasons why you need to add balance and breath work to your daily routine. So one, there's 3 reasons I'll talk about. So balance, I'm not just, work-life balance, but literal balance into your day, okay? 1, injury prevention. So injury prevention, and I don't care if you're an athlete who's training a bunch of hours a day, or if you're a weekend warrior, or if you don't train and you just exercise. Every single human being can benefit from balanced training. And again, that is especially for injury prevention. So a lot of times athletes are out on a field, and they're switching directions very quickly. And if they don't have good sense of balance, if their body has not really attuned, again, their brain to their neuromuscular skills, they're setting themselves up for possible injuries rather quickly. Take a weekend warrior, somebody who's out on the weekends, jumping over a creek like I did yesterday and twists an ankle, or worse, breaks an ankle. If you don't have good balance or good motor control, then you're setting yourself up for injury. Anybody walking to the grocery store and you're reaching off center on your tiptoes to grab something off the top shelf. If you don't have good balance, again, you're setting yourself up for injury. And well, Marissa, why do you care if you get injured? Guys, it's really important because especially as we age, the less that we move or the more that we hurt when we move, the worse your quality of life is going to be. And so again, no matter what stage of life you're in or what age you are, if you're not working on your balance, you're losing some of that edge. Okay, so number 1 is injury prevention. We really want to make sure that we're working our neuromuscular coordination and overall stability around all of your joints. So that's number 1. Number 2, we're going to work into building stabilizers and core muscle strength. So we have 3 systems that work with balance. Our first system is the visual system, right? Your eyes tell you where you are in space. And as soon as you close your eyes, it gets scary. You have a hard time standing up, and that's why. You have a visual system that tells you, your brain, where you are. Secondly, your vestibular system, that's your inner ears. So your inner ears also tell you where you are. Who's been out there with motion sickness ever, right? It's your inner ears telling you, oh man, your inner ear, your fluid is off. So that vestibular system also is a way to tell your brain, hey man, I'm out of whack, or, oh, I'm perfectly balanced. So my favorite kind of point to that, I've actually experienced it, was the sea legs. So if you're out on a boat for days on end and then you get on shore and you feel that swimming feeling, it's again, your vestibular system knocking you out. All right, vertigo, same thing. So guys, but we use those, and as well as the proprioception system. And that is where we trainers really work on not just lifting weights, but we're having you work agility and balance drills to help your brain understand better where your body is in space. And the more you can do it in a trained situation, right, the more we can help you practice now when you're out on the field, or you're in the grocery store, or you're jumping over that creek, the more your body's just going to know how to react so that you prevent those injuries and falls. So we're going to work today on that with your visual system and your proprioceptive system. So we've got 2 types of core, right? And I'm just very basic, but our deep core muscles, That's not something I'm gonna be like, hey, could you work your really deep spinal muscle? Like, we can't really do that. These are muscles that hold our spine together. But we can work the outer core muscles to help strengthen the inner core muscles, the stability, the stabilizers, the stability. So that's why balance is so important. If you are always walking on 2 feet, you might have compensation patterns that are actually going to help lead you to injury when you bound over that creek or reach off center for something overhead. So super important that we work on that core strength daily to stabilize your spine, to help balance out any imbalances. The first part was injury prevention. Second part is getting stronger. Third part is helping bring your mind into the present when you're trying to balance. And that, I think, is more relevant to today, because I am really about stress release, getting your body moving, of course, but trying to relieve the stress. Because I don't know about you, but listening to the news, watching social media, everybody's stressing about all the new things we're learning about living in a pandemic. So if you could just take 10 minutes in a day and bring yourself back to that parasympathetic state where you're deep breathing, like Janine was just talking about. You're bringing your brain out of your brain space and into your senses. The calmer you're gonna feel. And the more that we can live in that parasympathetic state, the less stress we're gonna have. You guys, stress is a killer. I could talk forever on that, but right now we're talking about balance. So balance involves your senses, your eyes or your ears, and then your whole body. So we're gonna work on feel, and we're gonna work with your eyes. So if you'd like to, we're gonna stand up, and the rest of my session here, Bob, I have about eight minutes. Can you just give me a holler? Okay. Good. So, and if you're not sure, if you haven't done this yet, go ahead and hit speaker view, just so you can see the body, because it's more than just my face. So I'm going to step back here. Awesome. And good. If you want to play along, great. If you don't, that's okay too. All right, guys, but we're going to inhale here. Bring your left or right ankle ahead of your left foot. So your heel to toe in a line. And then just go ahead and bring those arms out to the side. And just go ahead and touch your nose. You don't have to walk, you're just standing here. Good. Now, everybody's seen this on TV, on Cops probably. All right, can you balance, right? If you're drunk, probably not. But now I want you to close your eyes and continue. Balance. Notice how hard that is to hold your balance while closing your eyes. Okay, so as you remove the visual system, your brain has to work something else. Did you feel your feet wobbling or your ankles wobbling? Or perhaps your breathing rate got a little faster? Let's switch the sides. So other side first. Good. And again, arms out. And touch the nose. Actually, let's touch the ears this time. Ears. Okay. Good. Thanks for following along, you guys. This is fun. Now go ahead and close your eyes. Both. Close your eyes and try to, I just fell over, right? I try to touch your ears. Close your eyes, adding the movement, feel the balance challenge. I'm not even asking you to stand on one foot, all right? And open your eyes and relax. So take from that. If you were bad at that, all right, I want you to try to practice that today, tomorrow, the next day. And just practice, one foot in front of the other, moving your hands to your nose and close your eyes. And just feel the challenge. All right, so next, we're gonna bring one foot off the ground, doesn't matter which one, and just give me a few big arm circles forward. Good, and feel the challenge now in the leg that's down. It is working. That's your muscular system working to hold your balance, but we're working those tiny stabilizer muscles up into the pelvis and the core. Guys, let's bring the arms backwards. Good, and continue. Now I have my athletes doing this. I have my active older population doing this. We are all humans, and we're all challenged by just being on one foot. Okay, and release. Great. So now we're going to bring the visual into it. We're going to bring the other foot up, and we're going to change our arms. We're going to go across your body. Okay, just continue across. Whoa, that's different. I'm twisting my shoulders, my strong core, and I'm on a single leg. You guys feel your legs kind of wobbling. All right, if you're feeling comfortable, bringing in this final challenge, bring your eyes only to your right hand. Watch it the whole time. Okay, you're still jabbing, but your right hand only. Tell me what happens now to your balance. Are you falling over? Are you wobbling more? Okay, bring it back down. So these are simple, very brief drills you could do as part of a warm-up or part of a cool down or right before some mobility, all right? That will really help bring your brain back down into your senses. Let's kind of go into a little, we've just been standing here, so we'll add a little movement to finish out. We're gonna go both right and left, okay? And I wanted to give you an idea of a strengthener, so balance with strength. All right, so I'm gonna turn sideways so you can check it out. I think I'm gonna bring this down here. And I want you to just check out my legs here. So what we're gonna do, again, a little bit advanced, we're gonna bring this into a little hinge, sending your hips back, strong leg. Now I'm gonna bend my back knee towards that front knee in a little bit of a one-legged squat, and then bring it back to the hinge. If you wanna follow along, a one-legged squat, back to the hinge, and you start to really feel those stabilizers in the hip, the gluteus medius, the gluteus minimus, and your gluteus maximus working to hold you up. What about your feet? We're working those arch muscles to hold you up. So continue, let's do one more. Hold on, and stand it up. I tipped over, and now you feel that rush of like, oh my gosh, my leg is really working. Let's do the other side just to make it even. So I want to show you again that balance is awesome, because even though you feel like you're barely moving, here we go, squat, you are really working and focusing your brain to the body muscle, to your balance in a very small but substantial way. And I think it's important too to notice if you're better right side than left side. Don't judge it, just notice it. What could you change? Last one here. As we're up, and you could get deeper if you want into that squat, right, for my athletes, and up. Stand it up, feel the glute work that you just did, the arch work you just did. And we're gonna finish here. Guys, again, bringing yourself out of that stressed out challenge up here, back into your eyes, your ears, and feeling, especially with your feet. There's a bunch more balance drills to do, but we don't have a ton of time. So feel free to catch me on Instagram at Axel Rocks, that's A-X-E-L-L Rocks, or at Action Fit Coach, that's A-X-N Fit Coach. I'm also at actionfitnessandcoaching.com. I hope to connect with more of you guys later. And if you have questions, just feel free to email me. All right, thank you guys.
You had plenty of time. You had a few more minutes there to do some things.
Well, in that case, I could show you my cute visual that I forgot to put up.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
But I'm gonna go ahead and cede my time to somebody else. Is that cool?
Okay. I saw Mary working hard, so she's warmed up. She's up next. So
excellent, excellent. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Marissa. All right, we've got an active aging workout coming from Mary Bushkill in Wyoming. Where are you, Mary? I lost you off the screen here.
Hey, am I on? Can you hear me?
There you are. Yes.
No, you can't hear me.
You're good.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I was hoping to use my headset, but I guess
We could hear you with your headset, Mary. You just won't be able to hear us.
right, and that's okay because I'll be going and blowing for 10, 11 minutes. Okay, thank you, Megan. All right. Yes? Can you hear me? Yes? Okay. All right. Coming to you live from Mary's Fitness personal training studio in Cheyenne, Wyoming. I am going to go through some things that are going to help you with your explosive power, balance, and your core. Marissa, she talked a lot about the science, so I am not going to even be going there. But what I wanted to tell you why this is so important, why explosive power is so important, not just for young people, but also for older. Anytime that you are wanting to get up out of a chair, you have to have some kind of explosive power to come up out of that chair. Climbing stairs, you don't want to just plod up the stairs. You want to have a little bit of a spring in your step. You come to You're crossing the street and there is water rushing down the curb. How are you going to get up onto the sidewalk, clear that curb without getting your feet wet? Those are things that those are explosive. That's why explosive power is so important. Also, when you're putting things away, having that explosiveness to be able to lift something above your shoulders, to put it away. There are so many reasons why explosive power is so important in our lives. I'm going to kind of break this down into two areas. We're going to start with standing. I'm going to go through squat and then some other upper body exercises that will challenge your balance. But I'm also going to be challenging your core. Then we'll go to the floor and we'll do two exercises on the floor. You can follow along, you can take notes, you can just stare in awe, I don't know, whatever you decide you want to do. But the first thing is, when I work with older adults, is knowing how to get from a sitting to a standing position. So when my first test with older adults is having them cross their arms and be able to stand up and sit down for a full minute. How many times can they do that? And a lot of them are rocking themselves forward, that disengages your core, and then you're standing up. So what I usually do with adults, no matter what, even young kids, is teaching them how to squat efficiently, putting a chair back behind you and lowering yourself to barely touch the chair and then come back up. Initially, I have people hold their arms out so they have a little bit of a counterbalance so that they're not falling back into the chair. So that's why I'm starting here. So squatting and coming back up. You can even put your hands to your chest, make it a little bit harder. This is the test position I have active older adults do. Not arms out, but arms in close as they go down and back up. And you can make it harder and harder putting your hands behind your head or overhead, but we're not going to do that today. So what I'm going to have you do, this is going to be a progressive thing. What I'd like you to do, depending on where you want to be, arms here, arms back behind your head, arms overhead. This is totally up to you. I'm going to start here. I want you to do 10 squats. You can use a chair as your measure, going down and back up. Now, one thing I want you to notice is, where are your knees gliding? People who have weak hips have a tendency to want to cave their knees in. Keep those knees out and in line with the heels. As soon as you're done with 10 reps, we're going to go right into a balance exercise. If you have weights, you can pick them up. One thing that Marissa talked about was putting one foot in front of the other. If you do not have the ability to balance with one foot in front of the other, you can modify by moving the foot so it is to the other side of the midline. You can have 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Or if this is too hard, this is too easy, you can actually take and put the heel of 1 foot against the shin of the other, and you've got the balls of the feet down for the of the foot that's not all the way on the floor. This also tends to challenge you. And then from here, we'll do a couple of different exercises. First, alternating bicep curl, allowing yourself to be challenged by alternating. Let's just throw in 10 repetitions here. Then go ahead and switch to the other foot. So if you what I did was I just went ahead and did heel to the inside of the other shin. If you want to put the foot in front, however you want to do this, you can even, if you feel less challenged, then you can actually lift the leg. But now I want you to bring your hands to your shoulders and then alternate pressing up. that alternating really activates the core and the proprioceptive system to keep you balanced. So this is another way of challenging your balance. Also maintaining a strong core as you go through the exercise. From here, we're going to go back to the squat. With the squat, we're trying to develop explosive power. So the longer you have your muscles under tension, the more ability you're going to have to explode out of it. So what I'm going to have you do, feet are about hip width apart, toes are straight ahead. If you do have knee problems, you can rotate the toes out just slightly. That takes some of the stress off your knees. You can either have your hands crossed, arms out in front, behind your head, whatever. I want you to squat 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Now pop up. Let's squat. 1, 2, 3. Hover there. Now explode up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Explode up. 1, 2. So the slower you do the movement on the going down or the eccentric work, that pause doesn't allow you to have the momentum to come right back up, and then exploding up, that's going to help you start to build that explosive power. From here, if you want to then move to a different kind of squat, this is one that I use with people a lot, especially people who have jobs where they're sitting for long periods of time. When they go to stand up, their glutes are asleep. They have to activate their glutes so as to protect their knees and their low back. So what I have people do is they sit on the edge, toward the front edge of their chair. They have one leg in, one leg out. Cross your arms across your chest. Come up. Then slowly lower yourself back down. Come up. Slowly lower yourself back down. This is like doing a single leg squat, a pistol squat, but you get the support that you need to get stronger. Now, some people don't have the ability to use a leg, one single leg, to get back up, especially older adults. You can actually help get yourself all the way up with both legs. Put a leg out, then slowly lower yourself back down so that you can explode back up, whether it's with both legs or one leg. So there are 3 different things that I showed you on the squats. Just your basic touch and goes, as I call these. You touch and then you go up, slowing down the going down, pausing at the bottom so you take momentum out of the equation, and then coming up fast. And then the last one is the single leg, where you're slowly lowering yourself down and then you're trying to pop up. Those are the 3 different progressions that you can do with squats. Again, anytime that you're wanting to do challenge balance while lifting weights, you can start with your feet one foot in front of the other, rotate out, or if you do have good balance, actually lifting that foot off the floor. Moving to the core before we move to the floor, something that I love doing with my active aging individuals is I'll have them come down into a bent over row, placing their right hand on the chair, the left arm is hanging. Now we're going to engage the core by extending the right leg out so you have balance between the right hand and the left foot. If you notice, I have a nice flat back, so I'm not like this. I'm engaging everything, pushing through that back heel, and then rowing in. This is an awesome way to not only challenge balance, but also engage the core in the process. I love that one. My people love that one as well. Then we're moving to the floor. I have 2 or 3 minutes, so here we go. Making sure for your hips and your core, a gluteal bridge, bridging your hips up and then back down. You can change it up by rolling up and rolling down. Those are 2 different ways. So flat back, pushing up and down, or doing a pelvic tilt and rolling the spine up and back down. If that's too easy, you can always bring a leg in and make the other side work, where you're coming up and then back down. Again, coming up slow, holding, releasing slow, actually increases the difficulty of the exercise. And then the final thing is a plank. We can start with a plank on the floor. It can be on your hands and toes, or on your elbows and toes. The objective here is to draw. You don't want to be rounded in the spine, lifting those hips. You want to have a pretty engaged core by drawing your shoulders back and down, pushing those elbows toward your feet, and then pushing your feet toward your elbows and locking down. If you don't have the strength to be on the floor, you can always bring the floor up to you. Again, starting here, nice strong plank, or at the elbows, nice strong plank. If this also is still too difficult, move the floor even higher. And you can even go to a kitchen countertop, which is readily available. Bench is about the height of either a coffee table or a couch, a firm couch, not a soft couch. So we have 3 different floors that you can work on. The actual floor, a little elevated floor, and a little more elevated floor. And a plank can also be, in a plank, you always start and you can do your push-ups, starting high and working yourself down to the floor. Thank you. I am through. That was faster than I ever thought.
I see your active agers go through that. Rock stars. Very good job, Mary. Thank you.
I didn't see anybody. I only saw myself. Thank you. Or actually, I saw Megan. I saw Megan more than anybody.
You did great. All right, so that leaves us still on the back to the West Coast, from Wyoming back to Washington State. And we're going to bring on Coach Kelly Pagay here, and she's going to slow you down a little bit, find your Zen. She's got a topic called Zen and Flow. All right, Kelly?
All right. Hello, everyone. I hope you are having a great time during this webinar. I first want to say I am so grateful to be a part of this. I'm so grateful for my TD5 team, Bob, our coach, Todd, all the coaches in our mastermind, and what they've brought today. They lift me up. They teach me. They energize me. They're amazing. And I think you've just found how amazing they are as well. So anyway, moving forward, like Bob said, I'm Kelly Pagay from Washington State. I have my own brick and mortar 3D fitness. And I am going to take you through Zen and Flow, which I had actually transitioned into more of the anti-gravity aerial yoga with the silks. But when this occurred, the pandemic, I had to take it back to the yoga that I was teaching. And it has been phenomenal and so amazing for the people that are doing the online virtual classes with me. They have found that over some of the intense workouts that offer something different, it releasing, happy hormones, but this is a different energy. And a lot of people, when they slow down, or they tend to avoid yoga or Pilates or that type of thing because it isn't energetic. But when you do the breath work and you do these particular poses, what it brings is a complete different intention and energy because your mind is much more uncluttered. You have more clarity and you're more productive. And so it's been very beneficial for me. There's lots of benefits as far as reducing chronic inflammation, reducing anxiety, which right now that is very needed, right? And also not just when you do the poses, it's not just the breath work, but when you're doing these specific poses, it's amazing for all of your organs, okay? And when we're doing intense work, which I do that in my studio too, we have TRX and we have boxing, we have all kinds of workouts. This is complementary to that. It's needed. It's healing the body, it's resetting the body, and it's mind, body, spirit connection, which we need, you know, that because we've become so disconnected, right? Helps with concentration and focus. I could go on. The benefits are endless. And me having autoimmune disorders, it has been phenomenal for me in healing. So, and remember that breath work oxygenates the blood. That's something we need to do right now to level up our autoimmune system to deal with this crisis. So, okay, with that said, let's go ahead and rise. And my intention for you is that you will feel more centered, more grounded, more focused, and walk away with the renewed energy. All right, so let's stand up. Let me know if you can see me. If you do the, like what Mary did, that speaker view, then I'll be bigger than life. Okay. So I'm also going to employ some different types of techniques that I want to infuse just to show you what else I do in regards to the yoga. So we're going to take our legs nice and wide outside our shoulders, and you're going to do a natural turn out from your hips. And when you're coming down with the knees, you want to make sure that they're in line with the midfoot or the ankle, but not rolling on the inside of the foot. Okay. So we take a nice deep breath and let the arms float up to the top. We take an inhale, we're going to exhale, sweep the arms down. Inhale, rise. So again, deep breath. Exhale, release, and allow the spine and the neck to flex forward. Opening up the body, exhale, reach down. Feeling again the stretch through the groin, the hips. Breathe, exhale one more time. Now as you rise to the top, we're going to hold, and you're going to circle the arms one at a time. Come down and forward, rotating to the other side. Maybe push those hips slightly forward. But this really hydrates your fascia, opens up a lot of space in your joints, and you feel a nice flow. Now let's take it to the other side when you're ready, and bending the knees. Modify as needed. Just find your range of motion. As we become warmer, you'll feel you go a little bit further. So feel those feet nice and grounded into the earth. Strong lower body. And rise to the top. All right, now you're going to step to, if you've got a mat, you're going to step to the top of your mat. If you're on the carpet, just find a space where you feel comfortable to move. So you're going to be hip distance apart. And again, we're going to connect to the earth with our feet. Being barefoot is really, really good for the body because that is our foundation. So we're going to spread the toes slightly and just place them gently down onto your mat or carpet. And then think about your feet, that you're going to evenly distribute your weight all four corners. Sometimes we think of our feet as a tripod. So the inside of the ball of the foot, the outside, and then the inside of the heel and the outside of the heel. As we work our way up, you're going to just draw the kneecaps up and feel the quads engaged. Now we move to the pelvis. We want to level side to side and front to back. So to find our neutral pelvis, we're just going to rock back arch a little bit. And then we're going to tuck under. So just continue to do that a couple times, and then you're going to find center right between those 2 points. All right, as we move up into then our sternum, we are lifting tall and lengthening, creating space in our spine. We're going to roll our shoulders back. So we've got nice broad collarbone, good posture, cheeks back in space, so that we're aligning our head right over the spine. We can keep our gaze out, or if you're looking at me, it might be a little bit different. So now we're going to close our eyes, because we're going to go inside, because that's where the work comes from, inside to out. And we're going to start with our breathing. There's different types, and I want you to feel comfortable with what works for you. We want to try to be as present as possible. And if you find you become distracted, just always come back to your breath. It's all there waiting for you, and it will always center you. So as you breathe, I'm going to place my hands on my abdomen, my diaphragm. So we're going to breathe into our hands, inhale. And as you exhale, just let it soften right into your center. You can breathe in through the nose. You can exhale out through the mouth, but if you exhale out through the mouth, try to make it more of what they call a ha breath versus blowing out. You can also close your mouth and breathe into the throat, which is called ujjayi, and it will sound like ocean waves. Now we're going to practice that breathing where it goes to the, expands to the side, so think like a fish with gills, and also into our back. So envision this sphere inside of your ribs, small, and as you inhale, it is growing and expanding and filling up. Now exhaling out, allowing the shoulders to relax as we breathe. So trying to keep that breath in the lower lobes of our body. And as you're breathing, just think about what your intention is, what you want out of your practice today. Every time we step onto our mat or we take a yoga class, it's always different. Starting to clear the chatter out of your mind. Okay, let's open our eyes and we'll start moving. So we're going to reach our arms up, extend at the top, connect your palms together, and then bring them to heart center. From here, we're going to rotate to our right. Let the head follow. Allow the pelvis to slightly move, but really focusing on that spine. Very important to keep the spine healthy, especially thoracic spine. When that gets a little sticky, that can create some problems. That's another webinar. So we're going to inhale into the center, exhale out as we rotate. Now let's bring it right back to our center and feel connected. All right, from here we're going to reach your arms up again, palms together, and just settle the shoulders right into the sockets. Okay, from here we're going to do a side bend to open the side of the body. So we're going to go to our right, and you're going to unlock that right knee as you reach. And you'll notice you might move a little bit more because of unlocking that right knee. Back to the center, and then we go to the other side. Inhaling through the center, just like we did when we did the rotation, and then over to the other direction. Deep breaths. Let's do one more each side. Beautiful, guys. And last one. Good, and then back to heart center. Now we'll go into sun salutations. So shoulder modifications, you circle sweep the arms up. And then you're gonna press the arms out and swan dive to forward fold. here, you can bend your knees as needed. As you flex the body over the top, relax your arms, just let them dangle. We're gonna shake our head naturally, no to the negative. And then we're gonna just naturally shake the head, yes, yes to the positive. Good, and then from here, you're gonna come up to what's called halfway lift. This is really good for your hamstrings, the posterior chain. And I'll show you side view so you can place your hands on your shins. You can also take them up to the tops of the thighs. We broaden the collarbone, we lengthen the neck. We think of our back like a table, feeling the energy all the way from the tailbone to each vertebrae and sending it out to the crown of our head. And we inhale, exhale, back down again to that forward fold. And from here, you're gonna just take one arm and reach just above the elbow, and then the other arm, so you create the square. Now you'll notice by releasing the hands off the floor and then lowering down, you're gonna feel a little bit more weight, pulling into that forward flexion and opening and stretching the spine and the backs of the legs. Just breathe. Then from here, we place our hands down in front of our feet. Spread your fingers nice and wide, and then step back into a lunge, and then the other leg to meet it. Push back into a down dog, where your tailbone rises to the sky. Sending the chest towards your thighs. And then you want to bend the knees if needed. Otherwise, you can straighten them a little bit more and send the heels down towards your mat. Now we inhale, we come to the plank. So nice and long. Lower the knees down very softly. And then you're going to make sure the arms are hugging right into the side of the body. Then from here, you can come to Sphinx pose or modified cobra, where your palms are down and your forearms. Otherwise, press through the hands and we lift the chest and heart center up. Shoulders down. Yes. Relaxing the glutes. Exhale, sit back into child's pose. And I'll show side view so you can see. Then we shift forward. We tuck our toes again and push back into the down dog. And just walk your feet up towards your hands. Now from here, I want you to notice this technique. It's called uncoiling. So stacking bone by bone, but I want you to move freely. So rolling the shoulders, moving your waist, and just winding. Maybe neck roll. So a little bit different way to rise up instead of traditionally just rolling straight up through the spine, okay? Then from there, we're gonna take our hands and we're gonna circle inward with our wrist. So this is, again, your coiling. Up over the head. And then internally. Roll inward and outward. And then from here, you're going to reach the arms and bring them in and think the tops of the wrist, and then pull those hands apart. Okay? Palms up, reach back out. Open the chest, roll the shoulders inward, bring again, heels and hands together. Open the palms, rise back up. Now just move freely through that movement and allow your back to relax. Hold in. Exhale. Inhale, rise. Exhale. And again, kneecaps facing forward. When you do some of this movement again, you'll feel a little bit more opening up in the joints. And winding again, some of the muscles that tend to become twisted. Now we come back to our mountain pose. All right, from here, we're going to go into balance. You're going to do eagle pose. You're going to cross your right leg over. And you're going to take a little sit. So kneecaps facing forward. You take that right arm and you just sweep it under, and maybe you go here. If you can rack a little bit more and bring that hand to the other hand so they almost palm to palm, and that's right in the center of your face. Now reach it up a little bit, and you'll notice a little bit more stretch through the broad back of the shoulders. Now breathe and hold. And I'm showing with the foot down. You can also lift up if you want to practice your balance, and you can wrap the foot around the bottom of the leg. Now we unwrap, we reset, and we go to the other side. Again, grounding that foot, taking your time to set up. Again, taking now the left arm under and back. How's that feeling, you guys? Hopefully feeling the stretch in the shoulders and reach and lift. And unwind. And my time's almost up, but we'll show one more where you go into crescent lunge. So reach your leg back. So you're gonna have your left leg forward, your right leg back, and then tip your pelvis forward, reach your arms up nice and strong. Okay, from here, you're going to shift the hips back, straighten that front leg, slightly just micro bending that knee and hinge forward. So you're here. Again, long spine, so feeling a deep stretch in that hamstring, long tabletop back. Now let's take a deep breath and relax all the way down. Just let it go. Stop fold over the top of the leg. And then from there, you're going to shift forward again into that crescent lunge, rise back up. Push off the back leg, and we step into the center again, into mountain pose. Relax the arms down. We'll do the other side, and then we'll finish off with child's pose and breathe and move on. Okay, step the other leg back. And grounding the legs. Reach the arms up strong. Feel powerful right now. Knowing that this is something you are in control of. And again, hinging back with the hips, placing the hands just right on the thighs, pyramid pose. Continue to breathe. Inhale, exhale, release the hands down nice and softly, fold over the top of that leg. Or if you want to stay where you are, that's fine. Now from here, go ahead and shift forward, step back into your down dog. Come down to the knees, connect the toes, take the knees wide, and sit back into your child's pose, wide leg child's pose. Relax the forehead down to your mat. Find the position where your arms feel comfortable in the body and just breathe. And then when you're ready, slowly rise up and just stack up bone by bone by bone. And that is it. We could have done a whole hour, but hopefully you felt some release in your spine and you felt good as far as just breathing and staying present and focused. So thank you, you guys. And
Good job, Coach.
Oh, thank you, Tasha. Now doing, like you said, you can join in on my online virtual classes or reach out to me. Like I said, Bob is leaving the emails, so you can see where you could follow me on Instagram and that, because I do give out content on body movement and some things that you can do as far as shoulders and spine and just keeping the integrity of your joints and such. So thank you very much.
Thank you. We're going to leave the West Coast and we're coming back east finally.
Oh, my speaker did not work. Oh.
So we're coming to meet with one of our coaches who's also a physician's assistant in an emergency department, and she's going to give us some frontline news on how to stay healthy in this new environment. So Susan, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Hi guys, visiting you from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania today. We're here at the hospital. Some updates on the virus that we're all fighting. We are seeing here in Camp Hill a steady stream of patients. Thankfully, they are all doing quite well. The things that we are noticing is that we aren't as quick to put people on ventilators as we were initially. And when we get them on ventilators, we're using more gentle techniques than were originally suggested. And what that means is that we are having a good deal of recovery from this virus. We haven't seen many deaths here at all, and we're thankful for that. We haven't yet flattened the curve, and I know everybody's really frustrated with being at home, but there's still a steady stream of patients coming in, which means people are still currently becoming infected. So what I'd like to talk to you today about is personal protective equipment. Our government have asked us to start wearing masks when we're out in public. I've seen some people using gloves in the grocery store, and I think that's great. But the problem is that I see a lot of mistakes. These tools are really important and they do good things for us, but only if they're used properly. So I'd like to walk you through a trip at the grocery store with your personal protective equipment on and make a couple of suggestions for you to keep yourself safe. The first thing I want you to think about is grabbing 2 Ziploc baggies before you go to the store. And in those Ziploc baggies, I'd like for you to put your car keys, your cell phone, and your credit card. And the reason why I say this to you is because what happens when you're walking around that grocery store with your gloves on is you're touching all of these different things. You're touching products, you're touching money, things that other people have touched, and then you're sticking your hands in your purses or in your wallets to get your credit cards to pay, and you've just contaminated yourself. As you're walking through the store, you might reach up and touch your eyeglasses and push them up on your face. You've just inoculated those eyeglasses with that virus or that bacteria. And finally, the most filthy thing that we handle all day long is our cell phone. So, you know, by having this in your pocket and your family member calls and says, hey, we need juice, we need milk, you reach into your pocket with your gloves on, you pull it out, you text them back. Now the virus is all over the front of your phone. Once you take those gloves off, that virus is still on your phone. So when you go to text and reply and all of these things again, and then you go to eat something without washing your hands, that's how this virus is getting to us. Instead, tuck these things into a Ziploc baggie, okay? Put the credit card in a separate baggie, and I'll explain that to you later. Put both of these, one in the left pocket, one in the right. If you have to answer your phone while you're in the grocery store, you're gonna use that baggie. Go right through it. Your phone will still work that way. Walk around the store, collect the things you need, put them all in your grocery cart. Now it's time to pay. You're at the checkout counter. If you have Apple Pay or some other such type thing that you can use Android Pay and you can pay for your groceries that way, that is the best way to do it, through the baggie. But if you can't, you have your credit card in your Ziploc baggie. Open just the top of it. Try to handle just the top of this thing. Pull the credit card out, do what you need to do, drop it back in the baggie, zip it shut, and try to twirl it up on itself with the outside of your fingers and either slide it into your cart or into your pocket. Once you get out to the car, use the car key inside the baggie. Don't take it out of the baggie yet. Open your door, dump your wallet or your cell phone and your car keys out of the baggie onto the front seat. Then you can go around to the back, unload all of your groceries, close the lid, and take that final baggie out of your pocket and throw it in with your groceries. Take your first glove off first by pinching the outside corner at the wrist and turning it inside out. Put the baggie that had your cell phone and your car keys on the inside of your other hand. Pull that glove over the whole thing and create a package. The inside of your gloves were never dirty, so you don't have to worry about them. Put them in the door of your car, put them anywhere you want in the garbage, just not on the floor. Then, once you get back home, you can unload all of your groceries, take that baggie with a credit card, disinfect the credit card with whatever cleanser you have at home, and then wash your hands. This virus does not transmit through closed skin, so you don't have to worry about handling something with your hands. The problem occurs when you handle something with your hands and then you don't wash them and go to eat. If you inadvertently touched your eyeglasses, take them off and wash them. That's not really where the transmission occurs. It's when you touch your glasses and then go to eat, and then you're inoculating yourself with this virus. So those are just some of the tips that I can give you to try to stay safe in this environment. Of course, I still want you to stay home. It's unfortunate. We all miss one another. We want to get back to our gyms. I'm tired of Zoom workouts, but we're going to keep on doing them to keep spirits up. But stay home, stay safe, take your vitamins, eat well, get your exercise, and please be careful with your personal protective equipment, okay? It does do you good if it's used properly. That's all I got for you. I know that was fast.
No, that was great information. You know, the baggies and turning the gloves inside out, but not realizing what we're doing coming back up to our face like that. I mean, it's just a natural reaction. So, yeah, use it inside of the arm or the forearm.
Right, outside of the arm, the wrist. When we're in the hospital and we do this procedure, we call it donning and doffing, and we put our equipment on one step at a time, and in between each step, we're sanitizing our hands. And then even though we've used hand sanitizer, when we're done with the whole procedure and are unclothed again, we're washing up. So getting all that stuff off, because hand sanitizer is great and everything, and it neutralizes things, but you're still holding a lot of gunk onto your hands. So it's still better to wash it off at the first opportunity. Soap and water is always better than anything you're going to rub into your skin.
All righty. Thank you very much for what you do, Susan.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. You can see it's starting to get busy again. So I'm with you in spirit. Love you guys. Take care.
All righty. Bye-bye. All right, that was a brief trip to the East Coast. We're heading now to the Southwest, Corpus Christi, Texas. Asha got a little presentation for us on nutrition and mental health.
Hey guys, can you hear me? All right, awesome. So again, my name is Tasha Shaded. I am the owner of Life Fit Personal Training Studio on Padre Island in Corpus Christi, Texas. And I'm super excited to share this information with y'all. There's been a lot of really good information that has been shared today. And I'm kind of going to touch on a lot of what Janine had to say about, you know, brain health, having to deal with exercise. I'm actually going to share about how nutrition, let me see if I can get this started. There we go, if I can share my screen. All right, I'm gonna talk about how nutrition works with your mental health, how they're connected. So, I've got the power. I just had to do that, I'm sorry. Anyway, you can control so much of your mental health with proper food and nutrition. How's your food? I usually ask this question to my clients on Monday mornings. For over a decade, I hear them say things like, my body hurts, my joints ache, my allergies are horrible, I couldn't sleep. You know, they also say stuff like, I can't lose weight, I crave sugar. I say that all the time. My skin is broke out. I just can't stop eating and I'm not happy. I hear these things all the time. Does anybody else meal prep like this? Pizza and donuts? You know, and it's sad because more and more of my clients are talking about, you know, like medicating these ailments with antidepressants, ADD medication, popular diets, weight loss pills, and alcohol. Okay. Where are we at? Yeah, some scary stats here. So nearly 1 in 4 Americans have some type of mental illness. The CDC says depression is the leading cause of disability between the ages of 15 and 44. That's pretty crazy. And overall, depression is the second leading cause of disability after heart disease. It's not just a problem for adults. Half of long-term mental illness, mental disorders start by the age of 14. Today, mental illness affects more than 17 million kids in the US. And I think a lot that plays a part in that is, social media, but definitely diet and exercise are certainly underutilized source of treatments for that. So now that we have some of those stats out of the way, let's talk about how diet is as important to mental health as it is to physical health. Through my own personal experience, and that's kind of why I want to talk about this, my struggles, I believe and I advocate you cannot have a clean bill of health when you fill your body with trash and junk food. Until you know what it feels like to feel good, you don't know how bad you feel. And a lot of people never experience how good it feels to feel good. That trash not only causes weight gain, but it will increase your risk factors for stress, depression, and anxiety. When you're not feeling good, when you don't look good, nothing goes right. And I just want to put it out there that I'm not a medical professional. I'm just speaking through experience, through my 12 plus years in this industry and dealing with all ages. Cutting out the trash and eating real food just will begin to lessen and possibly eliminate a lot of issues and symptoms that we often treat with medication. Food can be poison or medicine. So as a natural athlete, when I compete, my nutrition is very clean. I eat correct portions, that's the key. But I also eat one ingredient foods. I keep it clean. Protein, vegetables, whole grains, healthy fats, nothing's really off limits. I stay properly hydrated and I move and exercise every day. When I'm eating this way, I have more energy, I feel refreshed, I have better sleep, my mind is sharp, I can focus better, and I'm overall more positive and happier to be around. But in the off season, I'll revert back to the sad way of eating, the standard American diet. That before picture is before I found fitness, before I found how to eat for my body. I also revert back into a sad, struggling, lethargic person as well. Mornings become difficult and I can rarely stay focused. Exercise becomes a dreaded chore. Does anybody ever eat like crap and the next day you just don't feel like working out? Well, it just kind of becomes more and more of a routine. Your body hurts, it's full of inflammation, you have trouble recovering from workouts, and then more injuries. And that's something that I experience when I eat bad. And again, my experience, I'm just talking about what I go through. It's just shown to be tried and true. Everyone's gonna be different as far as what foods deliver their best, helps them to deliver their best performance. As far as sugar, gluten, dairy, fried foods, processed packaged foods like chips, cookies, cake, high fat and high carb combo foods. So for me, that's Mexican food. I love chips and salsa. I could live on chips and salsa and margaritas and enchiladas, you name it. They're all high fat, high carb foods. And yes, alcohol is probably the worst. Sorry, y'all. But you may think, your feelings of anxiety, your excessive worrying, irritability, panic attacks, you think they start in your brain, but the truth is 80% of emotion-related signals begin in your gut. The gut makes the chemicals or the neurotransmitters such as serotonin, dopamine, GABA. Those are the things the brain uses to process emotions and thoughts. And 3 ways a good diet impacts your mental health. It's crucial for your brain development. We are quite literally what we eat. When we eat real food that nourishes us, it becomes the protein building blocks, the enzymes, the brain tissue, and those neurotransmitters that transfer information and signals between various parts of your brain and your body. It puts the brain into a grow mode because certain nutrients and dietary patterns are linked to changes in a brain protein that helps increase connections between your brain cells. And it fills the gut with good bacteria. And that's good for the brain. Trillions of good bacteria live in your gut, and they fend off germs to help keep your immune system in check and tame inflammation. Some gut germs even help make brain-powering B vitamins. Okay, here are some simple steps you can take to help your brain, to help you balance your body and your mind. Sorry, I can't read my own slides. You can eliminate toxic foods from your diet. And it's best to focus on like grass-fed, organic, non-GMO, and fresh foods when you can. Remove allergenic foods from your diet. These foods promote inflammation and lead to a plethora of problems. You can identify these foods through an elimination diet, which I've done. And now I've even gone even further to do some food sensitivity testing. I use Dr. Carly Golightly. She's a doctor of natural medicine. Some of you may have heard of her through our TD Mastermind. And she's been helping me to identify and treat my own issues and sensitivities with these foods. You can follow her on Instagram. Avoid processed sugars and sweets. Most Americans consume too much sugar, including myself. It's kind of like it's a drug and we crave it. But soda, baked goods, candy, ice cream, sugar's been linked to a host of diseases and can easily affect your mood, like Grumpy Cat. And if your ingredients list reads like a short novel, you shouldn't buy it. You shouldn't consume it. Always look at the ingredients list. If you can't pronounce it, it's probably not good for you. It's just safe to stick with one ingredient foods, or with, you know, the fewer the better, especially if you know what they are. Consume fermented foods. This is easier said than done for some. Like sauerkraut, pickles, yogurt, kombucha, kimchi. They contain good bacteria, so probiotics. And if you eat them daily, they'll help keep your microbiome in balance. So again, taking care of your gut. And if you can't eat these things, you can take a good probiotic supplement, and that will help too. Hydrate. Most people don't drink enough water. You need water all day, every day. And you can't properly function without it. And there's a lot of research about how much you should drink. Yeah, good job. But you know, I aim for 3 liters. I usually buy, you know, a 50 ounce bottle of water, and I refill it, and I drink 2. And getting enough sleep. So if nothing else is working for you and your mental health, why don't you try looking at, I think like Hugo said, reversing your alarm clock. This is probably one of the biggest issues, and when you've tried everything else, you need to try to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I know everyone is different, but you need sleep to repair and recover. And you got to create a good nightly routine. Nobody wants to be around a cranky baby, you know, or chugging a big pot of coffee. That does not go towards your hydration count. So I don't know how fast that was, but I hope that this brought value to you as far as the importance of your mental health and what you put in your body and how that affects you. If you have questions, you can follow me, contact me. And if you need Carly Golightly's info, I'm happy to throw that in the chat. So thank you guys.
Great job, Tosh. Thank you. I like that Facebook at Island Trainer. That's a nice gig. All right, we're going to come back east. And the guy who was just in a foot of snow a couple of weeks ago, they're loving 60-degree weather up near Bangor, Maine today. So Adam, I'm going to turn it over to you, buddy.
What's going on, guys? I'm just going to share my screen here. 60 degrees and sunny. We got people walking down the street with no shirt on. It's that kind of place. All right, so let's present. All right. Well, very good, guys. Very good. Well, thanks for joining me today. My name is Adam Clark, and I'm going to be bringing you today's presentation called Get 1% Better Every Day, Even During Times of Crisis. Okay, so even during times of crisis. Before we begin, I want to tell you a little bit about Adam Clark Fitness and myself. So who is Adam Clark Fitness? Well, I'm a business owner. I own Adam Clark Fitness. We're based in Brewer, Maine, which is right across the bridge from Bangor, Maine. We're a personal training studio. If you don't know where Maine is, okay, just keep going northeast until you can't go anymore, until you reach Canada. We are the last stop. Okay, I'm a trainer. I love training. I love being in the trenches. I love being in-person trainings, what I love to do. I'm a presenter, a speaker. I've spoken. I've presented at a fitness convention. I've spoken to various organizations, businesses in the area, teams. It's something I really enjoy doing. I'm an author. I came out with a book last fall, Play Like a Champion Every Day. It's something that I'm really proud of. It's helped a lot of people. If you want to learn more about it, you can check it out on Amazon, or you can reach out to me. I'm a teammate. Whether it's in the gym with my employee, with my people, whether it's my TD5 team. We're really excited to bring this to you today. I want to thank you for coming out. They help lift me up, help me grow. And lastly, I'm a motivator. Just like my teammates, we're motivators. We try to get the best out of people, and it's something we really enjoy. So outside of Adam Clark Fitness, who am I? Well, this is kind of tough right now. I'm a football fan. The NFL draft's going on right now. I'm a New England Patriots fan. And it's been a tough offseason for us, but I'm not going to get any sympathy from the rest of you guys who aren't New England fans. Tom Brady left, Gronk's in Tampa Bay. Things are going to be a little different, but we've ruled the NFL for the last 20 years, so we need to give someone else a chance. This is Sarah right here. She is my fiance. It's actually her birthday today. So happy birthday to her. After this, we're going to go do a little celebration. We should be in Mexico right now, but the coronavirus kind of got in the way of that. We're going to get married in July in Jamaica. Not sure if that's going to happen, but we'll go from there. But she holds things together for me, and she's always been there for me. So very thankful for that. We're cat people. If you've ever seen any of my videos, my exercise videos, the black cat, Sheldon, he always shows up. So we love cats. Bob was saying that we had a foot of snow about 2 weeks ago. It's true. We had a foot of snow about 2 weeks ago. And this right here is camp. So the weather in Maine can be a little volatile, can be rough in the winter. But we go down to camp, which is about 25 minutes away. And it doesn't get better than that in the summer. And then I love to read. Reading's one thing that I love to do. And if you're not reading, I suggest you get to it. All right, so get 1% better every day. This is one of our core values at Adam Clark Fitness. That saying is right above our doors, get 1% better every day. And I'm gonna show you how you can use this principle and implement it into your life today. So are you guys ready to rock? Perfect. All right, so this is Adam Clark Fitness. This is some of our members, and we're a tight-knit community. We do in-person training with a small group. We high five at the end of each workout. We do community event barbecues. We go snowshoeing together. We go bowling together. And on March 22nd, that all changed. Okay, we didn't have that in-person connection anymore because of the coronavirus pandemic. It changed everything. Okay, so we shifted online. Like my colleagues, like the fitness world, we shifted online. And I'm happy to say that we haven't missed a beat. Yeah, we're not able to high five in person, but we're able to provide for our people, and with the help of my trainer and with the help of our awesome members, we've been able to thrive during this time. So what have we been doing during coronavirus? Well, we offer 23 live group fitness classes per week for our members. So 23 of them, Monday through Sunday, between my trainer and I, we split it up, and we're always providing. We're doing accountability calls, check-ins, daily contact with our members. We want to be there for them, right? We've also done some cool community challenges. So over this time, we've grown. Adam Clark Fitness has grown. And a particular challenge that we did was called the Quarantine Challenge. Okay, so for a week span, I created a Facebook event just created a Facebook event. And the goal was for each person to get 19 miles. We wanted to put a healthy spin on the number 19. And I encouraged people to tag 10 friends. And then at the end of each day during the week, they would post a selfie of their run. And I'm happy to say we logged over 3,600 miles. We had people in Australia taking part in this. So if you know where Maine is and you know where Key West is, go from Maine to Key West and back, that's 3,600 miles. So pretty special, just from a Facebook event. So keeping people healthy. And over this time, we've just tried to be the shining light. Just like my teammates here, that's what we love to do. And even during a time of crisis, that's where you need us most. And that's where we thrive. So operating with the 1% better method, okay? So what is this 1% better method? Well, it's how we operate. It's how I try to operate. It's how our members operate. It's how successful people become successful, okay? Guys, you may have heard of a guy named Ray Kroc. Ray Kroc's the guy who took McDonald's from one hamburger stand to just a global empire. And he was asked about this question: how does it feel to be an overnight success? Okay, how does it feel to be an overnight success? Well, he said, yeah, I was an overnight success, a night that lasted over 30 years. Okay, so nothing happens overnight. These things listed right here: weight loss, growing your business, building a house, running a marathon, none of it happens overnight. The 1% better method, it's about seeking and taking action on continuous improvement every single day. Okay, so when it comes to weight loss, right, you don't lose 10 pounds overnight. You make healthy choices for an extended period of time, and then that's how you lose the 10 pounds. Saving money, retirement accounts. You don't just dump a big lump sum into your retirement account. You throw a little bit in each pay period over time, and it builds up, right? Reading books. Not many people can sit down and just read 300 pages. You probably don't have the time. However, if you just take over 30 days, read 10 pages a day, there's 300 pages right there, okay? Running a marathon, right? You don't just get up one day and say, I'm going to run a marathon and do it, unless you're crazy, right? Unless you're David Goggins. But you build up over time. Growing my business to over 100 members, it took time. It took time. We had to do renovations. We had to put systems in place. We had to be consistent, all right? So how do you implement this into your life? So we want to take small, consistent, positive actions. And if you do that over time, it's going to lead to long-term results, right? About 4 months ago, many of you probably set some New Year's resolutions, set some goals. About the middle of March onward to today, things have been a little crazy, right? You may have been thrown for a loop. However, those people that set the New Year's resolutions before 2020, before the new year, 80% of them had already failed by February. Okay, it's because they tried to do too much. Okay, they were overwhelmed. So how do you implement this 1% better method into your life? I have 5 steps for you. Number one, guys, you need to pick one area in your life, right? Because if you pick too many things at once, you're never going to reach it. So pick one area. It could be financial. It could be health. Okay. It could be personal growth. Whatever it may be, pick one area. After you do that, I want you to set a long-term goal. Set a long-term goal. And I'm talking 6, 8, 12, even longer months out. So set that long-term goal. And here's where the magic is. What can you do with your daily actions? What can you do daily? Pick 1 to 2 things that are going to lead to you getting to that long-term goal, right? So if you have a health goal, what are 2 things that you can check off your list each day? And you know that if you do that over time, it'll lead to that. I want you to do it, and I want you to write it down, okay? The daily actions, that's where the magic happens. And then number 4, you got to take action. It's all about taking action. If you just sit on the sidelines waiting for the perfect time, guys, there is no perfect time. You just have to do it. And no one can force you to do it. You have to do it. Just take 1 step. Take action. You won't be disappointed. And then number 5, consistency wins. Consistency wins. If you do it over time, consistency can be hard, right? Things are going to happen. Coronavirus happened, right? We're stuck inside. Consistency wins. You need to be consistent to reach your goals. If you don't give it time and you're not consistent over that time, you're not going to reach your goal. I'm going to give you an example of consistency. This is Tanya. She is a member at my gym, and I've been training Tanya for over 2 years now. So she came to me in January of 2018. She wanted to get ready for her wedding, and she had a goal. Over 2 years, guys, she's lost almost 150 pounds. It didn't happen overnight. She was consistent in her actions. She's missed 1 workout over 2 years. 1 workout where she was sick. Over 2 years. Unbelievable. She was consistent. She made those small changes in her life, and she kept with it, right? And the great quote below her right there, the only impossible journey is the one you never begin. You got to take action. So why does 1% better matter now more than ever? Well, you're probably wearing many hats right now. You're probably feeling a little overwhelmed, a little more stress, right? You're thrust into this role. Maybe you're a parent, now you're a teacher, okay? And you're juggling many different roles. But you have to take a little bit of time for yourself. If you're not working on yourself right now, you're going to fall deeper and deeper into that rut. Guys, even if it's just 10 to 30 minutes per day, you can find 10 to 30 minutes per day, I promise you, to work on yourself. And if you can't, then contact me and we'll do a time audit. Okay. So you really need to take time for yourself now more than ever. So I got some tips for you, some final tips. Guys, you got to have some routine in your life. I know your life's been upended, right? Things are a little crazy now, and they may be for the foreseeable future, but you need to find some routine in your life. Maybe if it's just 10 minutes in the morning, right? You got to have some sort of normalcy. Okay. Find those positive routines and implement them in your life. Okay. The person who just wings it every day, and they're not going to be successful. And show me a person that wings it every day that is successful, and I'll show you a liar. Okay. Number 2, limit your news intake. I know you want to be in touch with what's going on in the world, but you need to limit your news intake. If you're watching it 24/7, okay, if you're watching news 24/7, you're going to fall deeper and deeper into that rut. There's more deaths, right? There's more cases. More people are losing their job. Okay, the economy isn't good, but if that's constantly being absorbed by your brain, it's going to take you further and further into that rut. Guys, positive stuff wins. Positive stuff wins, whether it's listening to us today, whether it's listening to Todd's podcast or other great podcasts, whether it's reading books. Positive stuff, inspiring stuff wins. Lean into your personal development. Okay, use this time to grow. We're growing here. You're growing here too by just being here, right? You're listening to stuff that you can implement into your life. So congrats on that. But you need to lean into your personal development. And you got to move your body. You got to move your body. Exercise is a stress reliever. Okay. Maybe I know you can't go to the gym, but all of us here, we're doing online training. You can do that. There's stuff on the internet everywhere. Everyone's an online trainer now. You can get outside. Okay. It's 60 degrees in Maine today. I look outside. It's sunny. There's people with no shirts on walking around. Get outside and move. And lastly, you just got to do something. Okay. Do something, because something's better than nothing, even if it's just 5 minutes. Okay. You got to show up and do something. The days that matter, guys, most, right? It's not all about your best days. It's not all about your best days, but those average days or even those below average days, if you show up and do something, that's going to make a major difference, a major difference. So, thank you, guys. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us. We're super happy to be able to present this to you guys and help you guys get better. So thank you. And if you have any questions for me or about my book, you can always reach out to me. That my email and contact information is in the flyer. So thank you very much, guys.
Great job, Adam. Keep your shirt on, buddy, though. Don't go crazy yet.
Oh, jeez.
All right. Awesome job from all of you guys today. I'm just waiting for Mr. Durkin to drop on here, Todd Durkin. He's going to be joining us from another live that he's doing. And we're going to do a little interview with Todd, ask him a few questions, let you guys get to know this guy that we're all crazy about. They know him in my center as actually my man crush. They all call him my man crush. I always talk about Todd. He's the man. But, he's done so much for my business. He's done so much for this group of people that you've listened to during this last few hours in this presentation. He's poured his heart and soul into all of us and shares his heart and soul with all of us as well. And that's what you get from a lot of these folks, a lot of genuine, heartfelt information. So if you can just hang with us a few minutes, he's scheduled to jump on here at 3:45 our time. I'm just watching to see when he pops in here. Does anybody have a question for any of the presenters at this time while we wait for Todd? If we get one or two questions in. You can put something in the chat box here. If you go to the bottom of your screen, there's a little message bubble there that says chat. You can type something in there to one of the coaches. Oh, uh-oh.
Hello, Bob.
I think he's here.
What's going on, guys?
Everybody,
how are you?
This is our coach, Todd Durkin. We're back out on the West Coast again, of course. We've left to go to California again.
Unbelievable, Bob. You guys are rock stars. You guys are killing it.
It's been a great call. All of these coaches have done a fantastic job in their presentations and had some really good interaction with all the folks that have joined in the call. So I told them we're going to do a little interview with you. And I know you've got a hard stop. You got some other commitments you got to take care of. But we talked a little bit about the Todd Durkin Mastermind and what it's done to grow these folks that are on here. So I just wanted to kick it off with you talking about, the Todd Durkin Mastermind, what your vision was and what it's grown to for the health and fitness professionals in the world.
I'll tell you what, Bob. I have it right here. 2006, I was expanding my business and I was doing a lot of reading. I had 3,000 square feet at the time, and I wanted to have a larger facility. And I had a dream to expand it. And I read this book called from Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. Not necessarily rich of like money, but just rich of mind, how you fulfill your potential. And one of the concepts in that book from Napoleon Hill is the concept of a mastermind, a concept of a community of like-minded individuals who can come together with a common theme and purpose, where they can collectively achieve more as a unit, as a community, as a team than by themselves. And something deeply resonated with me. And I was like, you know what? I just started doing a lot of teaching and presenting around the country at the time. And I put that as one of my 7 goals that year to create a mastermind concept in the fitness space. And sure enough, we started with the Dirty Dozen, 12 folks around the Knights of the Round Table, so to speak. And that was the beginning of the mastermind. And I mean, now we've got we've got some folks on here. We've got a little bit of everyone. But when you talk about fire-breathing dragons and purpose-driven people who truly from their heart live with passion and deep divine purpose, that has truly become the mission. I can't say that 2006, that was my vision. Like any of us on this call, mastermind member or not, it over time, those embers become deeper and deeper and become flames. And now, you know, in 2020, in something like COVID-19 and this pandemic, I realize now the importance even more so of being around people who are going to ignite the flames. It's what you guys have done, you know, all day here for 3 hours plus of having some of, you know, the mastermind members present and speak and, you know, shout out to you guys for doing that. That's what it's all about, is if we can take, let's say, you know, 15, 20 people and each person ignites a few dozen or a few hundred, a few thousand alone today, we can impact 10,000 people. And Bob, I do want to clarify something too, just so you all know. Earlier this morning, and thank you, Bob, for being flexible. You know, I know you had asked initially for me to kick off. I had to do a tribute workout to a member of ours who we lost, a 25-year-old young man who lost his life due to addiction. And I had to do that workout. And when I say I had to, I wanted to, because we are in an epidemic, and that's what all of us on this call live by, and we preach and that stuff. And when it hits my own family like this, and our own community, none of us are immune to it. And I think right now, there is more of a calling than ever before for any of us. You don't have to be a trainer or a coach listening, for us to be ironed up, be armored up, and make sure that we are ready to serve your families, serve your communities, serve your hospitals, serve your businesses, to serve more of all aspects. Obviously, we had a little bit of everything even today. I saw the lineup, which is amazing. We had the physical aspect, the mental aspect, the professional aspect, the spiritual aspect. So thank you for being flexible, Bob. You know, we impacted thousands today alone in that workout over here.
We thank you for squeezing us in. You know, you talk about impact. We all wear these impact bands that are part of Todd, and we have another one that we snap all the time too. When we get some, what Todd calls stinking thinking, we snap these bands to get our minds right. So I wanted to ask you about that, Todd. To get your mind right is your mantra, and we all say it all the time now too. But I know you got a new book coming out with this too that I want to hear about. But what are some things that you do, especially during this time, Todd, with yourself and your family first? It's going to be a 3-part, but I want you to start with yourself and your family, what's going on to help keep the minds right in the Durkin clan.
Well, I could tell you what, right now it's harder than ever. You got to like really maniacally focus on your habits and practices, because I wake up these days and I'm not waking up with like jumping out of bed like, yeah, I can't wait to work out. Like it is like I have to get up and get moving, because the first thing, like I can get my quiet time down here and I can pray, which I do. But if I don't move right now, man, I got to get the cobwebs out, because like that fog layer over here in the Pacific anyway, this fog layer is out there. You got to clear that smog and fog out of the way. And the best way to do that is to get the body moving and get some endorphins released, get some dopamine released, get some serotonin released. And the only way to do that is movement. And that movement could be a walk. It could be some yoga. It could be a full-blown workout, you know, with kettlebells and dumbbells and everything else. But one of the things when you say, what am I doing? I am moving multiple times a day. I walk in the morning and I either get a workout right after that walk, or I'll go later on and I'll work out again, because I'm finding that it's more important than ever before. I committed on March 16th, I was going to move every single day until we opened our gym back up. And I'm doing that every day. I'm going out and moving, and it's not like no days off and I'm crushing myself. It's just the fact of boosting immunity, getting the mind right. Because most people aren't eating right now the way that we should, right? The nutrition, and we talked, you know, some topics say about that, and stress eating and all that. movement is really, really crucial. Obviously, the book, someone asked me the other day, is it a good time for a book to be coming out? I said, no, it's not. Unless it was called Get Your Mind Right. Because like, you got to get your mind right now. Like there's a global epidemic that we are going to create here in June 2nd called the positivity pandemic that is going to like literally infiltrate people's bodies, minds, and souls. And I'm going on a crusade of like, man, this is a calling. This is way deeper than a book. It's a life. We can't afford another Brian Belaz to go down with addiction or a suicide. It's going to run rampant between domestic abuse, between depression. Like we are in for a battle, and we need all of us listening in. And I'm telling coaches and trainers worldwide, not just only in our mastermind, but like, man, we are in for a battle, and we've got to win that battle. And the only way to win the battle is to win the day and win the now. Like literally now, like it usually win the day. Now it's like, I got to win right now. And the win the now is like, what am I eating? When I'm done with this, this call today, what am I going to eat? Is it going to fuel my body? Is it going to give me energy to fuel the next few hours, so that when I write, I got to do some writing for my podcast from Monday. I got to make sure that writing is going to speak to someone on the other line. And I envision someone on the other line. I envision typically not someone who's real happy with life right now. I envision people who are either lost souls, or they're hurting, or they're like down in the dumps. And I want that email to make sure that it lifts their spirits enough to listen to a podcast or whatever it may be. So I have to be at my best in order to do that. And the only way to do that is movement, is trying to eat as clean as possible right now, because it's hard, because your mind just wants to go to sugar and sweets and all this stuff that it would be easy to do, and so much doing. I made a joke the other day. It's like playing for a tie right now. You got to play for the tie, and I hate playing for ties, but like it is. It's like, okay, I gotta make sure that I'm getting my protein in. I'm getting my good fats in. I'm getting my fiber in. I'm doing everything I can. So, and there's a third part, the family. Last night I was sitting outside with the family, and one of the best times that I've had through this, let's call it 6-week little episode, are Fridays teaching with my wife. We do a team taught class, which we hadn't team taught in 20 years. And I love it. It's like old school. It's just like we're having fun. There's no worries in the world. And I don't necessarily look forward to it beforehand, because if you don't know, guys, if you're not a trainer or coach, there's a lot of prep that goes into teaching virtually online. It's not like show up and hit live and like you got to just go on and you're on. It takes prep, and it takes energy to prepare for that. But I've really been enjoying my time teaching with Melanie. And then on Monday nights, we have a Bible study for the family. And those are like my favorite times right now, is just the times to do some simplification of not just working all the time, but getting that time together. My kids are mandatory. They're not mandatory quarantine. They have mandatory workouts every day. They need to work out every day so that we all get along, and they're happy too. So the kids have been awesome. And my dog Jersey thinks this is all about him. He's just like the happiest person, because everyone's all around. He's like, hey, this is great. No one's ever leaving the place. So
hey, I want to stay with the mind right piece. And you train average Joes and Bettys. I'll use Bettys because one of our coaches always has a Betty in there somewhere. But and you also train elite athletes. So how do you approach the two and helping them through this period as well? And with your elite athletes, these guys are conditioned an entire off season to get ready to get out and get after it, and now they're not able to do that. So how do you approach the two?
Well, let me tell you what we're doing now. So if you guys aren't, if I haven't worked with you before, I train a lot of NFL guys. So we have a text chain, and most days of the week, we are hitting each other up on a text. And it could be example. Drew Brees might simply say, hey, TD, how you doing today? That could be it. He's reaching out. It could be me leaving one of my crazy messages I leave several times a week of what are you doing right now? Get your mind right kind of video. It's check-ins, number one, mainly just seeing how you're doing, because the athletes are no different than anyone else right now. They're going bonkers. They're going absolutely bonkers. They're going stir crazy. They want to get out. I'm getting message from their wives like, "Can you sneak them into the gym?" like all these things. Like they're going nuts. And I think the one thing about this is this isn't just an American thing. This is an entire world in the exact same situation. So it doesn't matter if you're a stressed out teacher right now trying to learn technology, if you're a doctor or a nurse or a first responder who has a lot of responsibility on your shoulders right now, if you're a kid who's trying to adapt to a new way of learning, if you're a trainer or coach trying to pivot really fast and get online workouts, the one thing that I would say right now is that we're all in this together, and I think we've got to slow down or speed up and try to really enjoy who and what's in our life. I was talking with a couple of those athletes in our Bible study and in our text chain about this, and it's almost like, is this God's way of kind of resetting and recalibrating our priorities right now? And it's hard to look at it like that because there's so much loss and so much suffering going on. But the only way to stay sane about it all right now is to put your faith in God and become closer to how can I serve right now in a greater way. That's the only thing we can control. So not to sound rhetorical, but when I talk about control the controllables, the only thing I know I can control right now is am I getting closer or near to God? Am I working out, or let's call it moving, because the workouts sometimes are just like walks, but it's getting out. And am I spending some time in some ways getting my mind off of things? And the only way for me, like, I haven't been sleeping particularly well, and despite me doing melatonin at night, and now Heidi Ann's like, you gotta do aromatherapy, and because the mind is racing, it's like reading a book is a great way. Listening to a podcast is like not on business, because we're, the mind is like, how can I serve? How can I serve? How can I serve? And that's a good question to ask yourself. But I'm finding just like reading right now on material that's not related to career, but on personal growth or spiritual development has been very, very therapeutic, just to kind of ease the mind as well. So that's what I'm finding with our athletes and clients is everyone's in the same position, like can't wait to get back to quote normal, whatever normal means to you. And we will get through this. And I keep reminding my community is we will get through this. It's just going to be a gradual, like phases. It's going to be phasic. Phase 1 is what's going to look like. Phase 2. And I shared earlier, Bob, on this, and this is important. Let me share it again in case you didn't hear it. Make sure we're not saying the words, what if? What if we don't open until August? What if there's no football season? What if there's no fans in the stands? I'm like, stop, guys. Stop worrying about things that you can't control that are 90 days away. 90 days away. Just focus right now. I'm telling my kids in this program I did is like, the only thing you can control right now is when you show up is, are you going to be in the best shape of your life? Are you out running, or are you out watching Netflix and just lifting weights and you're not running? You should take this as an opportunity. If you really truly snap your band, like, I'm going to show up. I just got off a phone with a recruiter earlier, a college recruiter, and they're like, great opportunity to step on a live call like this in Zoom and connect with kids and see how they're doing. I don't know. Are you honing your interview skills, kids, if you have kids, on that? So there are opportunities right now to grow and get better on that stuff. So these are all things that I'm encouraging my family, my community, my athletes to do on a regular basis, Bob.
Cool. Your meditation time. I know we talked originally, we were going to try and get a little bit of meditation piece in here, but can you just kind of go through maybe a short, how you set yourself up for that wind down at the end of the day? And I know you have your quiet time in the morning as well, but
yeah,
for your wind down in the evening.
Matter of fact, Bob, here's what we're gonna do, guys. Instead of me talking about it, let me take you through a 2-minute meditation. Is that cool? Because here's what I'm finding. I'm telling people, hey, you got to meditate more. People are like, great, I know that. Let's just meditate for 2 minutes. Let's take 2 or 3 minutes of breath work wherever you're at right now, as long as you're not driving. And I'll just lead you to a 2 or 3 minute meditation, because the bottom line is that we're doing it. So assume a comfortable position. And guys, right now, as you close your eyes, take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Deep breath in and deep breath out. And right now, as you're breathing in nice and deep, giving gratitude for breath. Thank you, God. Thank you so much for that we have breath. 18 to 22,000 times a day. Today, are we going to breathe in and out? And thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Guys, thank you so much for today coming together for the last few hours of so many just wonderful, wonderful spirits. Just giving their energy and their life, their knowledge and their wisdom. And I ask that you fill them up and refill their bucket with energy, refuel them. I ask that you, today, someone listening in, and maybe it was someone listening in over someone's ear, maybe it was a child who was listening in, that there was some wisdom that was taken in, that some action can be taken. You take a nice deep breath in right now. In your mind's eye, if you can visualize someone in your life today who needs special intention, special energy, special prayer, they need some strength today. If you can uplift them right now in your mind's eye and see them, and even if they're not in your house, maybe they live in a different city or a different state or even a different country. Maybe it's someone that you need to repair a relationship with, or that you've been kind of bickering with, or need to forgive, or they need to forgive you. Maybe right now in your mind's eye, you just see them and breathe into that. And hear what that whisper is saying. Maybe it's saying, I love you. Maybe it's saying, I forgive you, or forgive them. But as you listen to the silence, there's beauty in the quiet. There's serenity and peace in the stillness. As you take a really nice, big, deep breath in, and a deep breath out. Finally, right now for you, with your eyes closed, your head bowed, for your own strength right now, just today, what do you need to feel? Fill me up with what? Strength, energy, patience, love. Taking 3 nice deep breaths in and 3 really nice big deep breaths out. Two more nice big deep breaths in. Let me hear your breath on the way out. I want to hear that breath. Real big deep breath in. Amen, amen. So as you guys, if you want to keep your eyes closed, you can. If you want to open them, you can. But right now, in just like a 2-minute meditation, what happens is your heart rate comes down and your blood pressure comes down and your mind just relaxed. So it's not so much a matter of I'm going to meditate or pray for 2 minutes or 5 minutes. It's more of just doing it and being still. Remember this, is someone once said, what's between meditation and prayer? I mean, when you're being quiet and still, that is prayer. You're listening. So you're listening. And what I find is the more still I am, the more I can tap into the whispers. By the way, that is chapter 9 in my book. It's called Tap Into Your Whispers. It's kind of like, it's really hard to do. So if you're like, well, I can't do it. It's kind of like if you study a monk. If you study a monk, they live in silence for periods of time. It's hard to turn the mind off. And it's a discipline to actually like it almost sometimes takes us, Bob, like this and saying, okay, we're going to lead a guided meditation for 30 minutes and have a little bit of structure to it until you get disciplined. Like I learned from my Zen master, Dub Lee, in 1995, is that it is a discipline. And if you can find up to 1 hour of complete silence, that is truly when you could become your best soul. Now think about that. That's hard because we, as human beings, typically want to figure things out with our brain. And that's the way most of us on this call are wired. Keep going there. But the true profound wisdom can be found if you can turn it off. So potentially the best thing that you can do tonight, tomorrow, as you just took in 3+ hours of great wisdom from some of the best souls on the planet, is now digest it. Get out a notebook and write down your notes and meditate on it. Tomorrow morning, on Sunday morning, when you wake up, look at your notes and meditate on it and just see what comes in. What are those whispers that you're hearing? Because stillness right now is so profound. And what I'm saying is maybe, give me your 5 tips. Okay, meditate. Instead of just saying meditate or pray, let's just pray or let's just meditate, right? So thanks for asking the question about that. I was like, let's just meditate and pray. So thank you.
All right. I know you've got, you probably got just a few minutes and you've got a bolt, TD. Did you want to share anything else? Did you want to? Do
we have any questions? Let me see. If there's questions, I'd love to answer some questions. What's up, Elizabeth? Adam, how are you? Tasha, good to see you guys. I had to coming out. Hello, Adam, Elizabeth. What's up? Psalms 46. Be still, and I know. Oh my God, Denise, fantastic. I love it. I'm reading your comments, by the way. So if you guys have questions, thank you for joining us. Megan, you're awesome. Thanks for sharing. So, Bob, as you look at that, if there's any other questions from anyone on the call, please feel free to ask. I have till 1:15 here, and I'm on another call. But I think the most important thing right now, beside the stillness, is when you're still. If someone in your mind comes up to you 2 or 3 times, you need to reach out to that person. If you keep thinking of somebody and for some reason, this family member, this client, for some reason keeps slipping in, to me, you can call it some subliminal, you can call it divine intervention. Just reach out to them. And it could be a text, it could be a phone call, it could be an email, whoever that is, I think the deeper we can tap into right now, the spirit, our spirits, I think then we're serving. And we talk about serving now, like truly serving on all levels. Some of us are serving sometimes on a live, you're serving dozens or hundreds or thousands or whatever. But sometimes you're just serving one. And that's a phone call once a day to someone when you're getting your morning meditation. Or if you don't like to meditate, because there are people who don't like to meditate, then use your walking time to do a meditation too. As a matter of fact, they're in the other room. I've got these headphones, and I have these are I'm kind of crazy like this, but I've got workout headphones. These are my workout ones. But then I got these Bose ones that are kind of I go into this, I call it a focus bubble, and I'm kind of get lost in my own head, and I can't hear much. They're soundproof and that. And when I'm in that, I can go deep, and I can hear myself think. Create a focus bubble for yourself. A focus bubble is maybe when you're meditating, you put on those special headphones for you, whatever they are, and the world gets locked out, and maybe you do your most profound writing then, or your most profound prayer time. But if you can quiet the outside world in, I truly believe that it's not easy, but when you're out for a walk, or maybe you're going to do a workout and you turn the music off and you're just going to hear your breath, like when you're breathless, like if you're doing push-ups or burpees or body weight squats or some TRX rows or whatever it may be, and all of a sudden you hear pop, 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 pop. Like, when was the last time you actually turned music off and listened to your breath pounding through your chest? Because that's a really sweet sound. But most people want their, AC, DC, and M&M cranking. And by the way, I love that. but every now and then just stop in the middle of like a really hard set when you're in like a yellow or red zone and you're pounding, and just turn the music off and listen to, because that's speaking. That's where it's speaking. And to me right now, in times of like this, it's really, really important. What is God whispering to you? What's he whispering? What's he saying? Who keeps coming up in your head that you need to reach out to? And again, guys, I know I started like this. There are people in your communities, and I know this for a fact, who are really, really hurting right now. Some physically, some emotionally, some spiritually, some in our own families. Just do our best to tap into those people right now, because losing anyone from coronavirus, not good. We've got a lot of deaths from that, but from addiction and depression and suicide and these things, we need more. I call them mind right maniacs if you're not in the mastermind community. But we need folks, and it doesn't matter what you do. We need more people that are going to infiltrate the universe with more positivity and love. And I think love and light, the two words that keep coming to me on these morning walks and meditations is like, how can I love more today? How can I be a better lover with my family, with the people I'm serving in the mastermind and in my Fitness Quest 10 community? And then light wise, remember I was talking about like this darkness. When I wake up, there's like this cloud cover. Mm-hmm. I got to make a very conscious decision in the morning to not turn this on and get sucked into it right now. I need to clear the clouds out and get rid of the fog. So if you're feeling that way, I'm with you. It's very, very devoted, devout, like focus of, I just have to do this. And whatever works for you, whether it's drinking, warm water with some lemon in there, and then gradually getting in your quiet time and then for a walk like I'm doing, or, if it's your cup of coffee or whatever it is, get your routine and do your routine 7 days a week right now. Get it in, follow that. And Bob, I just want to thank you for putting all this together in PD5. I love you guys, and for all you from around the globe who have listened in today, whether it was 3 hours ago or right now. This is what it's all about, and I thank you for your love and your light, because you're certainly bringing some great inspiration today. So
I'm just going to unmute them all so that they can give a round of applause to all these coaches. Did a great job.
Gotta get a picture. I gotta get a picture, y'all. Do something. Make a muscle and point to your head. I gotta
get them up there, guys.
Schedule to show Karen around. We're going to grab a bite in town.
I love it. So good to see you guys. It's so good. So good to see you.
Put that down.
I love you.
Thank you, Todd.
Tony Dobson. Are you going to the mountains, Tony? Are we gonna go to the mountains? You guys. Let's go, baby. Bob, thank you. All